I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the national anthem by Vice Chair McClellan. Thank you, Vice Chair McClellan. Roll call and verification of quorum. LJR Chair Uran.
Mole, Potier, Kira,
Here.
Martinez. Sorry, never mind. McClellan,
Present.
Millington,
Present.
Richard, Temple,
Present.
Capozzi, Caldwell, Robbins,
Here.
Balding,
Present.
Castello,
Here.
Parmar,
Here.
Wynn,
Here.
Simcoe,
Here.
Wanjin,
Present.
Domino,
Present.
Foster, Galloway, Custis.
I'm here. I'll also let Foster go ahead and
I'm here. Here.
Okay, sorry. Beaumont, Becerra,
Present.
Gell,
present.
Yalamanchili, Samuel, DeMarla,
Here.
Here.
Patel, sorry, Uchoa,
Here.
Harrell, Borges,
Here.
Almanar,
Present.
Anderson,
Present.
Castellan,
Present.
Sebula,
Present.
Hall,
Here.
Holmes,
Present.
Huerta,
Present.
Costas,
Here.
Martin,
Present.
Salerno,
Present.
Saucedo,
Present.
Pache. All right. 35 out of 44, quorum is verified.
Great. Thank you, Chair Urea. Approval of the minutes. Take a look at last meeting's minutes and I'll take a motion. Senator Spalding.
Move to approve last week's minutes.
There's been a motion to approve the minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. The minutes stand approved. Approval of the agenda. Take a look at tonight's agenda. It's a long one. And I'll take a motion. Chair Temple.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve the agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. The agenda stands approved. Open forum. We have Austin Wilson. Mr. Wilson, 10 minutes when you're ready.
Okay, I don't think I'll take 10 minutes because I know your agenda is pretty long tonight, but hello, everyone. My name is Austin Wilson. I'm a recent grad and alumni of University of Central Florida, and now I work in the Office of Government and Community Relations located within the Office of the President. I'm here today to talk to you about two opportunities that our office is doing that we thought would be relevant to student government, starting with our Legislative Scholars Internship Program. That's an internship program which we'll go through a brief PowerPoint about. It started in 2005 with about 4 interns, if you can go to the next slide. And it's a full-time nonpartisan internship that occurs in the spring session. So basically, depending on the session year this time around, it will start in March. And so we're looking for different individuals, up to 20 from a variety of backgrounds for majors and different things like that, to come up with UCF and have them placed in state legislative offices for state Senate, state House, as well as certain lobbying groups. And it's a really great opportunity. Of course, you know, a lot of you probably have an interest in the political realm, considering you're in student government. And so because of that, you'll learn a little bit more about more bill tracking, dealing with constituent relations, researching various issues on bills, and supporting the daily operations of the state senator, state House rep, depending on who you're placed with. If you can go to the next slide, there's a lot of great benefits for the program. The first, who doesn't like free money? You get a $3,000 scholarship through financial aid. And so that's completely for you. And then in addition, you get reimbursement for your travel expenses. So, you know, you get 1 trip up to Tallahassee and 1 trip back when you go up. Credit hours, this is a really cool opportunity to take your classes up in Tallahassee while you're there. And certain majors and things like that work differently. So certain majors may give you about 3 credit hours per this program. I know an individual who got up to about 13 credit hours for the program. So it really depends on your major and what you're interested in. And so other things that happens with the program, of course, along the lines of free money, you get a free apartment. So you don't have to worry about necessarily any leasing or anything like that. Our office provides all of that, and you get to room with 1 other scholar. It's a pretty nice digs. You get your own bathroom, your own bedroom, and then all the dishes, furniture, everything's provided. So basically all you have to bring to Tallahassee with you is your knowledge and a happy attitude to work there. The next slide kind of talks about our application process and the little bit of steps to success. So if you can go to the next slide, pretty easy. So we've been having constantly throughout this summer various info sessions, and we'll start in fall have some application clinics. Our application is located on Handshake. We'll go to the last slide in a second. Basically, you'll be able to access all the different Linktree links, our Instagram, our social media, Facebook, all that fun stuff. Speaking with an advisor, of course, is super important because of the credit hour portion of this program. And then, of course, you just got to complete the application. We recommend proofread because we've had some applicants in the past spell their name incorrectly and things like that. And we're looking for, of course, people who are a little bit more detail oriented than that. The next slide kind of talks about a little bit more of a timeline. So those application clinics, we'll be holding one on September 13th, kind of in a little bit of start of fall. That will be happening on the main campus. We'll be posting more about a room location and everything else. And then the next day, to attract our downtown students as well, we'll be having an application clinic downtown. And through that, there'll be other various info sessions that we'll be hosting. Right now, of course, similar to you all during summer, we're holding a lot of virtual sessions. So if you ever had the time to stop by, you can just visit those through Handshake. The deadline is September 18th at 11:55. And other than that, the process goes interviews, kind of like a typical application. You get your notice of acceptance, and then you go for a pretty rigorous orientation led by our Office of Government Community Relations team. And then you do a training session, which is a boot camp, basically to get you ready to go to start working in the office once that happens. Other than that, for this portion of my talk, this is the social media on the next slide. We have a nice QR code that you can scan if you're interested, or you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and then Twitter as well. The Twitter goes to our actual office's government community relations handle. So if you're interested in anything our office is doing aside from legislative scholars, that's probably the best place to find that information. And then other than that, what I wanted to talk to you all about, I know GAP, I've heard, and a couple other organizations within student government are looking to kind of do more interactions with state representatives, state House members, and all different types of delegations. And so we have conversation with the Florida Congressional District 10 candidates coming up. That's going to be happening August 11th. That's in partnership with the College of Community Innovation and Education, alongside the Black Faculty and Staff Association and our office. We're really excited. Well, excited because there, I'm not sure how many of you follow along, but there's about 17 candidates in this primary for this Congressional District 10 seat. This is Val Deming's seat. And so because of that, we have invited all of them. So it will be a lot of panelists, a lot of questions, I'm sure. So we're looking to have it happen from 5:30 to 7:30. There'll be a little bit of a check-in and networking opportunity to interact with the candidates. And we'll also have a moderator who is to be determined right now, but we reached out to someone from the media who has a little bit experience. And so if you're interested, I'll throw the flyer for this in the minutes. And then other than that, I'd be happy to take any questions about legislative scholars, anything our office does, anything really. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson? I'll take questions and then I'll do senators needing to be present and voting. So I'll start with Chair Rea.
So you would have to be in Tallahassee to do the internship?
Yes, so because of capital protocols and everything like that, they are going back to in person. We did at a time during COVID have kind of a virtual type of the internship. How it starts is you'll start in February in the district office with, say, if you're working for Senator Victor Torres, you start in his office and then you would go up with him once session starts in March. So that's kind of, unfortunately, you do have to be in person for that, but that does get you more of the experience because we set up briefings and things like that to visit different agencies at the executive level of the Florida government, as well as different judicial opportunities as well at the Supreme Court. So again, for that, it has to be in person.
Any other questions for Mr. Wilson? All right, I'm going to go Anderson, Hall, then Palmer.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. How long roughly is this internship normally?
So typically how it depends on when the session starts and ends. Sometimes it starts in January, sometimes it's starting a little bit later, like this upcoming year. So it basically would go from March to that April, May, whenever the session closes and they do sine die. There's been questions if you're like, say, graduating. Sometimes it's like that week of graduation when the internship ends. You can more than happy to work with the office and you'll be, of course, allowed to come back here and graduate at UCF. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah.
Chair Hall.
Yeah, so first, great to see you back.
Yeah.
And then just clarifying question
Yes.
with that kind of candidate discussion, is that where exactly is that going to be?
That's a great question. I did not say that. So it's happening August 11th, 5:30 to 7:30. We chose UCF downtown because of the district. And so that will be happening in DPAC room 106 A and B. So we'll have a pretty large room and I'll put the flyer in the minutes so you all have it and you can share it, of course.
Senator Palmer.
So are international students allowed to apply for this internship?
Yes. So what happens is depending on your major and things like that, you would work with your advisor. I can't answer that question right now, but you would work with an individual advisor. I can give you the contact information of who represents which department in college for the Legislative Scholars Internship Program, and then they'll work it out. But we've had international students, we've had transfer students. Those students are some of the most successful in the program along with graduate students. So hopefully that answers your question.
Any other questions for Mr. Wilson? Seeing none, thank you, Austin.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else for open forum? Seeing none, senators needing to become present and voting. Senator Beaumont,
Present and voting.
noted at 6:20 p.m. Any other senators needing to become present and voting? Senator Yalman or Chair Yalamachili,
Present and voting.
so noted at 6:20 p.m. Senator Heinzkel,
Present and voting.
so noted at 6:20 p.m. Any other senators needing to become present and voting? Seeing none, Senator Beaumont.
Sorry.
All right, announcements from the student body president, President Lopez.
Hello, Senate. I hope everyone's had a great week so far. So just a couple updates from me. Last Friday, Vice President Martinez and I, we did meet with President Cartwright. Coming into these positions, one of our goals, one of our initiatives really was to lobby for more transparency behind UCF administrative decisions. So one of the things that we spoke to him about was the taking down of anti-racist statements and the reasons to why that was happening, because I feel there was, it came out on the media, there was a lot of news about it, but then we didn't really get the reasoning behind it. So if you would like a more in-depth discussion, or if you'd like to have a more in-depth conversation about that, I'd be more than happy to schedule time to meet with you to talk about that. But essentially what he had told us was that there wasn't an issue with the statements. The statements were all just being taken down, revised, and then a lot of them went back up online. There was some verbiage that needed to be clarified, or some verbiage that needed to be removed from just a couple of the statements, but not all of the statements. And then he also wanted for me to share to everyone, and hopefully you guys can then share this to your constituents, the anti-racist statement that he posted and that he made around 2 years ago. One of the things that Vice President Martinez and I recommended to him was, this is something, his statement was posted 2 years ago. There's been a lot more students since then. Society and a lot of things in society have changed and has happened since then. So we recommended that he either make a new statement or that he republish this statement, because unless you're digging through news articles and digging online, you're not going to find this. But I have linked the statement within the minutes, because like I said, he did want us to share that with you all. So again, if you have any other questions or want to have a deeper conversation on that, I'd be more than happy to talk offline with you about that. So moving on. So this week, the executive cabinet, we met with Limitless Solutions and Hillel. Essentially, we just toured their facilities, really found ways how we can partner and collaborate them into this upcoming year. So with that, Limitless Solutions also has internships that are available. They close this upcoming weekend. So if you're interested, the postings are on Handshake. I really encourage you to take the opportunity to look at them. One of the common misconceptions with them is that you have to be an engineering student in order to intern with them. They have interns from just about every single major. And if they don't currently have an intern of a particular major, they will find a new spot for you. So that is something that they also wanted us to let you all know. So if you're interested, then I do have a couple of appointments for the Election Commission. I hereby appoint Lauren Baker to seat 9 and Carolyn McGregor to seat 10. And so we just wanted to wait for having to have a fuller commission in order to have supervisor of elections and assistant supervisor of elections applications go out. So those will be opening next week. Interviews will happen shortly after, and then hopefully first thing in fall, we are having those individuals confirmed so we can get EC up and moving. And that's about it for me. Any questions?
Any questions for President Lopez? All right, we'll go Hall, then Anderson.
Yeah, so first I do want to thank you for telling President Cartwright that maybe a new statement would be good, because but my question is then more specifically, because I understand the university has to review all of these things. Has student government had to review any of the statements that have been made in the past or anything like that? Or to your knowledge, is that something that we will have to do in the future?
Not to my knowledge. And that wasn't something that was brought up either. It was more so upper university administration that was reviewing them. I don't think we would ever be in the position to review them unless requested. And even then, I don't know if we would be able to.
Great, Anderson, and then Senator Costas.
He asked one of my questions, so my next question would just be a follow-up. So I understand that you recommended it. Did he clarify at all that he would be doing it? And if so, do you have a timeline of when you might be meeting him or when we would be looking for it?
So he didn't have a direct answer for me. One of the things that he did tell us to do, he's to encourage, and for us, when we have a next student body president and just a next administration, he recognizes that it's easy to forget that we constantly have new students coming in. So I don't know if he would be making a brand new statement, but they are going to be pushing out the statement that has currently already been made. So I don't have a specific answer for you, but I can find one.
Senator Costas.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, not as a senator, but like as a human being and as a student at UCF, how do you feel about the removal of the statements?
Yeah, this is a discussion, like I said, offline. I'd be more than happy to meet with you so we can discuss this. So just get with my Chief of Staff Greenaway, and we can find a time to talk about this.
Anyone else with a question? Vice Chair Almanar?
I want to preface, this isn't like a question meant to put us as an institution in a tough spot, but has there been a discussion of possibly not changing the our statements that we've put out in the past, even though the state has changed the laws to make it that we have to change our statements? Has that discussion been brought up at all?
Not to my knowledge, that hasn't been brought up to me specifically, but I can find that out for you.
Any other questions regarding the president's report? Seeing none, thank you, Daniela. Announcements to the student body vice president, President Lopez.
The next ADSB meeting will be on July 28th at 10 a.m. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Vice President Martinez.
Any questions for the president regarding the vice president's report? Seeing none.
I am
Announcements
also
from the comptroller, President Lopez.
So the last finance committee meeting of the summer will most likely be next Friday. Comptroller Chad is just finalizing availability, I believe, and he'll post the exact meeting time very soon. The current CRT account balance is $295,000, $295,616. I can't do math, 0.19 cents with a 10.132% reversion rate. And the FAO current account balance is $104,645.63 with a reversion rate of 15.966%.
Any questions for the student body president regarding the comptroller's report? Seeing none, thank you, President Lopez, for all of those reports.
Thank you.
Cabinet Forum, Attorney General Moore.
Hello, Senate. I submitted Title VI recommendations for revision to the ENA committee and to Chair Borges, and also sponsored Internal Bill 5417. I'm working on submitting revisions for other statutes as well, and then I'll share those with the LJR committee. The Sunshine Law workshop will be taking place sometime on Saturday during the Senate retreat. So I'm working on preparing the materials for that and then sending it out to the speaker to have approval for that. And then I've finished the last outstanding opinion request. I'm currently just proofreading it and doing some final edits on that. And then I hope to have that posted tomorrow in the student government office. And then it should be on the website shortly after that as well. And continue to use this form for any opinion requests that you might have. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Any questions for the Attorney General? Seeing none, thank you, Caitlin. Announcements from the Chief Justice, Chief Justice Carroll.
Okay. Hello, Senate. So first, I just want to say shout out to Emma for the invite to yoga. It was really fun. It was fun hanging out with all of you as well. Next up, Judicial had their summer retreat today. So just a couple of highlights. We met with Dr. Satcher regarding grade appeals. So a couple highlights from that. He mentioned that he's planning to advocate to kind of try to move the ad hoc committee level back to the college level, as well as make the form a little bit more streamlined for students. So that's great news. We have a presentation from Tracy Saunders from Parking Transportation highlighting the changes in our parking regulations and permits. As many of you may know, we're moving to an online permit system this year. So it might look a little bit different going here on out. Then we also had guest appearances from Brody and Jax. They both kind of gave presentations on what it means to truly help students. And we kind of talked about Judicial's kind of unique role and how we can help students in a more one-on-one way. So that was really nice. And then I was told to mention that our council voted that we are Slay and not Yas. So that's fun. And then next up, just last, we're working on scheduling a meeting to comprise a list of website updates. Once we kind of get a running list going, we'll go ahead and meet with OSI to make the appropriate changes. But that's all the announcements I have.
Sage was our key person during yoga yesterday. Those who are there would know I'm saying that. Any questions for the Chief Justice? Senator Parmar?
Which website are we talking about?
Just the UCF student government website. So there's a few links on the judicial portion, as well as just some updates that we feel like need to made. We need to fix some of the links, and we want to get the names updated, everything in there, and committees and stuff like that. So
any other questions for the Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you, Sage. All right, announcements from the Supervisor of Elections, none. Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Senate President. All right, first thing, I am resigning next week. Shouldn't be a shock to you all because I'm graduating. But the reason I decided to resign last week, obviously I would like to be here as long as possible. But it would be selfish of me to stay in this position and not allow you to elect a speaker next week. Because the time between our break and when we meet in the fall, that time can be used for the speaker to transition into the role and also to plan out things for Senate for the upcoming academic year and begin the process of choosing the legislative assistant. So I'll be resigning next week so we can do speaker elections. If you ask me exactly what time of the meeting I'll be resigning, I can't tell you yet. We'll find out next week, which also prompts me to call for a special session on Monday morning at 9 a.m. I know that's not ideal. I don't want to do it at 9 a.m. either, but we have a lot of confirmations tonight. We also have a lot of legislation to see, and we're not going to get through all of it. And we need to be able to get everything done before we break for the break. And we also need to do activity and service fee committee and scholarship committee elections, which will happen next Thursday. So next Thursday will be a busy agenda. We have committee elections and speaker elections. So if you're interested in any of those positions, just reach out, ask any questions, let me know. Be happy to talk about it with you. I will send out the memorandum tomorrow. It just depends on what we get through today. I also made the decision to terminate the external legislative assistant from her position. It wasn't an easy decision to make, and I understand that there may be some question as to why I did that with 1 week left. Believe me, I didn't want to fire anyone or remove anyone from their position with 1 week left, but there were just many concerns, not only for myself, but other senators that warranted this removal. So I'm letting you all know that now. The ELA position is vacant. Obviously, I'm not going to reopen it because we're not going to reappoint a new ELA under my term within the span of a week. And I will send out the memorandum stating the exact reasons why I removed her from this position. And I'll send that to you within 5 academic days. The retreat is this Saturday, July 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4:30, completely virtual. And I will make sure to send you all the link beforehand. Attendance is mandatory. So if you won't be there, send in an absence request to LJR. In terms of absences, Riley Huerta is at 2, Senator Martin's at 2, Vice Chair Castellan is at 1.5, and Chair Teche is at 1.5. Lastly, on a lighter note, because I know many things in this report was kind of heavy, if you ever want to compliment a student government agent, whether it's someone in Senate or in another branch, go ahead and use that compliment form, and I'll send that out. Any questions for me? Seeing none, internal legislative assistant report, Riley Huerta.
Hi. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you all, kind of. Sorry if you hear Roomba in the back. She's doing what I won't do around the house, cleaning up. So yeah, not much has changed for me this week. Just working on promoting SGLC. But yeah, promote the program. Thank you to everyone who participated in making the video. I unfortunately, obviously I'm home, so couldn't do it. But yeah, that's it for me.
Any questions for the ILA? Seeing none, thank you, Hannah. ELA report, none. Senate President Pro Tempore report, Pro Tempore Foster.
Good evening, Senate. Once again, thank you for believing in me and electing me into this position last week. I recently sent out an email last weekend. I don't know if you read it, basically detailing how the next couple of weeks in this position will be for me. I'll be also conducting news or orientation for new senators next week, so I'm actually really excited about that.
Any questions for the Pro Tempore? Seeing none, thank you, Nick. All right, Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs report, none. Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations report, none. Caucus report, Asian/Pacific Islander American Caucus report, none. Black Caucus report, Chair Holmes.
Hi, everyone. So we officially released the signups for our Black Business Month showcase, which closes on August 12th. And I just wanted to kind of a little bit shout out Dr. Turner for her diligence this past month on getting this up and rolling. And we'll have a volunteer sign up sheet up soon, hopefully next week or maybe closer to the event. And then I met with Rick Falco and Wendy Shively yesterday and walked through Night Stop, and we discussed some different places where we can put natural hair products in the store. And based off of that interaction and conversation, we decided that we're just going to focus on shampoo and conditioner for now. And then as we get more feedback, we will see if we can do leave-in conditioner and all the other different types of products that are needed to take care of natural hair. And the brands that will be given will be based off of the survey results, and that will be coming up soon. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Any questions for Chair Holmes? Seeing none, thank you, Sierra. Disability Caucus report, Chair Tache. He's not here. All right, Vice Chair Borges.
Hey guys, so we elected a vice chair this week, that being me. We also discussed our fall priorities for the caucus, and that's all.
Any questions for Vice Chair Borges? Seeing none, thank you, Chair Borges. All right, Hispanic/Latinx Caucus report, Chair Saucedo.
Hi, everyone. So we will be holding our next workshop with the Hispanic Latin RSOs next week, July 27th, with Chair Millington and Vice Chair Anderson. I didn't finish putting this, but I'll put that if you're interested in helping us translate those, what is it called, presentations into Spanish and Creole, please reach out to me. We do plan on doing it together over Zoom, but if you want to do it on your own time, that's fine as well.
Any questions for Chair Saucedo? Seeing none, thank you, Mel. LGBTQ+ caucus report, Chair Delamonte.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We did not meet this week, but I have gotten into contact with the student director of the Multicultural Student Center, and I'm about to meet with him to discuss how our caucus and MSC can work together on initiatives and ideas. And we expect to hold vice chair elections and potentially chair elections in the next meeting.
Any questions for Chair Delamonte? Seeing none, thank you, Vihan. Women's caucus report, Chair Sabula.
Hi, everyone. So earlier today, I met with Marcus Hernandez, who's the student director of MSC, to discuss how MSC and Women's Caucus can collaborate and support each other. And I'm also in contact with the director of the student union, Rick Falco, about our drug testing trip initiative. He's very interested in the idea, so I'm really eager to see how this goes. Thank you.
Any questions for Chair Sabula? Seeing none, thank you, Larkin. Unfinished business, Resolution 5406, updates to Senate Rule 2, fixing discrepancies between Senate rules and the student body constitution by Chair Borges. Is there a motion for 5-minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections? Seeing none, I'll take those on consent. Chair Borges, 5 minutes when you're ready.
I'm sorry for the amount I'm going to be speaking at today's meeting. For you guys to understand what's going on with this bill, we have to look at the student body constitution, 2.02, composition of the student body senate. Student body senate shall be comprised of a number of students who shall be known as student senators, a senate president elected from the student body senate, a senate president pro tempore elected from the student body senate, and a number of agents elected or appointed as stated in the Senate rules. So D is the important one, in which it says agents elected or appointed as stated in Senate rules. Positions such as chairs, vice chairs, deputies, legislative assistants, ORS and LGR reps, etc., have nowhere in Senate rules where they are mentioned to be elected or appointed. The only position mentioned about being elected is electing an ad hoc committee chair. And the only thing mentioned about appointing are the deputies pro tempore, but it doesn't say how. It just says they are appointed. Nothing is mentioned about electing committee caucus chairs, vice chairs, or as LGR reps, like I said. So therefore, adding these to Senate rules puts us back into compliance with the Constitution, because as of now, like technically I shouldn't be CRT chair. So yeah, yield to questioning.
We're now in for questioning. Does anyone have a question? Chair Holmes?
Sorry. Hi, Chair Borges. So how did you find these discrepancies?
So like I said last week, I kind of just lay awake at night thinking about Senate, sadly. And I just read things over and over. I read the Constitution at least 10 times. I've read every statute at least 10 times. And I looked at it and I was like, that's so interesting. I don't exist. That's an issue. And so I tried to fix it.
Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Sarah?
Wait, question to Tyler, Chair Borges. You said you're not supposed to be like the CRT chair or something at the end?
So the way it's written in the Constitution, it says appointed or elected as stated in Senate rules, and we have those all in statutes. They're all laid out in statutes. None of them are laid out in Senate rules. So I just pretty much moved it over.
Chair Salcedo?
Hi, Tyler. Would you say this is more or less the way we do it now? Like, it's not changing the way we do things now?
It's not changing at all how we do things.
Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Chair Hall?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll go Yalamanchili, then McClellan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think that this is good and that it helps clarify the existence of committee positions and caucus positions, because there could be someone who does come up and say that according to the statutes, that the positions of chair and vice chair for the committees and caucuses are illegitimate. And we don't want that. And this is a good clarification for it. And it's better to have things that are vague in the statutes, like this matter, in a more detailed way to put the facts of Senate, how we run things in a concrete manner. I'd be voting in favor. I encourage my fellow senators to do the same.
McClellan,
May I retain as well?
you may.
So I like this bill. I like it still. I think it's good. I sponsored the bill. Having our leadership positions and other representatives in some of the internal committees and fiscal committees recognized in statute or by the Constitution, because it's easier to add this bill to Senate Rule 2 rather than amend the Constitution to say Senate rules or titles. So recommend we all vote in favor of this, and thank you.
Your motion?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now voting procedures. With a vote count of 34 to 0 to 1, resolution 5406 passes favorably on second reading. Next up, the reinstatement of Kevin Martinez. Is there a motion for 5 minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. Mr. Martinez, 5 minutes when you're ready.
All right, real quick before I start, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I won't use up the 5 minutes, trust me. All I want to say is that the reason why I got kicked out in the first place was because I had exceeded the allowed number of unexcused absences. But in reality, I actually had it, right? I was there for the meeting on the 24th, I believe, but I understand that, like, I think the date was the 24th. Yeah, it was the 24th. But I was not there for the final roll call, so I understand that. But I remember saying here, I don't know if I was recorded or not. That's kind of weird, but I was there. I voted for a few things there, though I think I ended up falling asleep because it was like nearing 2 a.m. or something for me, and I was really tired at the time. I was in a different time zone, but for the meeting on the 30th, if I recall, it was the 30th, where I was 2 weeks into my vacation. I went the entire time in that meeting. I was there for first roll call, final roll call, everything. I voted. In fact, I'm not sure if I'm in the live stream in the VOD, but I know for a fact that my voting records are there, clear as day. Like, it shows Kevin Martinez voted, so I was there, you know. And if you're just following by the rules, you know, I was there. So I believe I should be reinstated just for that simple fact, you know. And I also did indeed sit through the entirety of last meeting with not being able to say anything or do anything. So, you know, you can throw me a bone here. That is all. I yield the rest of my time.
We're now online for questioning. Chair Salcedo, then Vice Chair DeMarlo.
Hi, Kevin. I was wondering if you had talked to LGR about like the discrepancies with your absences, like why you were considered absent for those.
I did not talk with LJR like the committee, but I did message Chair Ray. So I was told to do that. I asked some friends for advice. And I did also message Custis, Speaker Custis, and she told me just to message Ray about it. I was not told to go to LGR. So, you know, so that's what I ended up doing. And she said that she'd look into it, and then she said that she talked to Brody, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So.
All right, we'll go DeMarlo, Yalmanchili, then Urea.
Can I point this question to like whoever can answer it?
You may.
For whoever verifies the like absence or like the roll calls and like the roll call like at the beginning and end, can like do they know if he was actually like there or like I guess what is it called? Like he responded to his roll call for the 30th?
Chair Urea or Vice Chair McClellan?
This is why I raised my hand. So I went back and watched the videos, and I think Kevin's mic was off or something like that, where he didn't say here for, or it wasn't on the recording for initial and final roll call. So, I mean, I didn't mark him as there because he didn't say that. Otherwise, like it would have been different if I just made a mistake. But so
if I could elaborate on that a little bit, I think it might have been my mic.
Mr. Martinez, you do not have the floor. Chair Urea, you may continue.
Just a point of information, like I verified it and went on the video, and he didn't say present. May have been a mic issue, may have been a Zoom issue, I don't know. But so I didn't have any way of knowing that, even with the voting records. So me, Emma, and Brody just came to the conclusion that we would just reinstate him.
Chair Yalmanchili.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez, for being here. If my memory serves me correctly, you were on vacation in the meetings that you were recorded as missed. Did you have a choice in whether you could go on that vacation or not?
I mean, I guess I could have chosen not to go. I will say,
Mr. Martinez, you're muted.
Sorry. I'm pretty sure I had the choice. I think it was around March or April when they asked me, and I said yes, kind of just like impulsively. Though I will admit, I kind of didn't want to anger them, and I brought that up as a concern that, oh, I might have to miss Senate, so I might not go. And I don't know, my dad got really mad at me because, I mean, he already made the reservations and he would have wasted a bunch of money. So I understand why he got mad at me, but, you know, listen, I don't think you want Mr. Martinez over here, you know, yelling at you like that. I don't know. It's not a pleasant experience. I could have fought back, or I could have ended up choosing not to go, but I kind of just made the choice out of like the sake of like, you know, family and all that. I didn't want to piss them off or anything.
Chair Urea.
Just another point of information, the vacation time was not what pushed him over the edge of absences. So he was fine with like unexcused absences. It was solely because of like the weird Zoom mic, whatever issue it was.
Any other questions? Wanjin?
Mr. Martinez, were you on vacation during the meetings where you had issues with the Zoom possibly not catching you?
Yes, I was in Greece at the time, so 7 hours ahead. I was on vacation.
Any other questions? Chair Gell?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll start with Yalman, then we'll go to Sabula and Gel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Martinez, former Senator Martinez, was on vacation when these two absences happened that got him dismissed from Senate. Even in those meetings, he was there. And if my memory serves me correctly, for one meeting, he was there fully, and the other meeting, he was there for initial roll call. I don't know why that happened, where his presence wasn't recorded. It could have been technical issues, but he was regardless there, and I do think he should be reinstated because he was not away from Senate for more than 2 absences, even though the attendance record does not indicate as such. More so, Senator Martinez did great work as LGBTQ caucus vice chair, and he is a valuable asset to Senate. And I think it would be great for the Senate to have him back. I would be voting in favor, and I encourage my fellow senators to highly vote in favor of the reinstatement of former Senator Martinez.
Chair Sabula? Chair Sabula?
Your mic's up.
Okay, I'm not going to talk very long. I'm not going to use any more time since I just wasted some. But it was a technical issue. Even the LJR chair Urea agrees. So I think there's no reason to not reinstate him. So I'm going to vote yes.
Chair Gell?
Yeah, if anyone's had an interaction with former Senator Martinez, you all know he's amazing. He genuinely cares and puts in a lot of work into our body. It was a technical error. Like I said, I share all the sentiments of the fellow senators speaking. So with that, may I retain? You may. Move to vote on the reinstatement of Kevin Martinez to UCF Senate body.
There's been a motion to vote on the reinstatement of Kevin Martinez to the UCF Student Body Senate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 28 to 0 to 4, Kevin Martinez is hereby reinstated to the Student Body Senate. Fiscal Committee caucus time, 15 minutes for FAO. I will reconvene this meeting at 7:09 p.m. If you are on, hold on, before everyone leaves. If you are on Zoom, feel free to join the breakout room. If you are not in Senate, please leave the room to give FAO some time to focus on their committee.
All right, I hereby call this meeting to order at 6:56 PM. Roll call and verification of quorum. Vice Chair Anderson.
Chair Millington,
Present.
Vice Chair Anderson is present. Senator Heinskill. Absent. Senator Holmes.
Present.
Senator McClellan.
Present.
Senator Parmar. Senator Richard. Absent. Senator Samuel. Senator Salcedo is dismissed. ORS Committee Rep. Pro Temp Rep.
Here.
Awesome, thank you. Approval of the minutes. Take a second to look over last meeting's minutes and I'll take a motion. McClellan.
Motion to approve the agenda, the last meeting's minutes.
There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the minutes stand approved. Approval of the agenda. Take another second to look over today's agenda. I'll take a motion. Chair Borges.
Move to approve today's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve today's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the agenda stands approved. Announcements from the chair. Just so we're seeing the allocation that I mentioned on Monday. So that is it from me. Are there any questions? Seeing none, announcements from the vice chair. None. Announcements from committee members. None. Announcements from non-committee members. None. Old business, none. New business allocations. Is there a motion for 3-minute speeches, 5-minute questioning, 5-minute debate?
So moved.
Awesome. So allocations 5407. You have 3 minutes whenever you're ready. If you just want to tell us a little bit about what you're requesting funding for and how you think this will benefit your RSO.
Good evening. My name is Andres Alatorre. I'm the president and founder of Marine Biology Education Awareness Club. I would like to apologize for my first Senate meeting and I'm not very prepared, but we are asking funding for promotional items for freshman orientation, such as opening night and other events during the beginning of the fall semester. We are planning to make a tablecloth banner to promote our RSO at events such as freshman orientation and tabling during the semester. We are requesting an allocation of $318.44 for tablecloth to promote our club. This would really help get attention of interested students so that we can promote our club, as we are a new RSO. We really do need marketing and outreach. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. We'll now be in questioning. Also, just for the committee really quick, if you notice, the request total for the original request is $339, but that was counting tax. So as the individual just mentioned, the total without tax is $318.44. So that's what we'll be looking at, just to clear that up. All right, are there any questions? McClellan.
When looking to get this new tablecloth, were there other websites and providers that you looked at to make sure that this was like the best one, both for price and ability to?
I looked at about a total of 4 different websites. I was looking at the a lot of them. The main problem was finding actual tablecloth designs, because a lot of them mainly just focus on like promotional items such as t-shirts, pens, office supplies, stuff like that. And I was really looking for something that would actually fit what we needed. This was really the best choice I could find. If it could be found that through further investigation that there is a cheaper source, I would be happy to do it and present the second at a further meeting. But to the extent of my knowledge, this was the best I could find.
Are there any other questions? Chair Borges.
May I ask too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you financially trained?
But yes, I am. Is it working?
Oh, sorry. We can have 2 working at the same time. The second question is, are you an authorized officer of the RSO? I should ask.
Yes.
Are there any other questions? McClellan.
For this table, how often are you planning on tabling this semester or this upcoming semester?
We are planning on tabling at least once a week during freshman orientation. I will be tabling about 5 dates rest in the summer semester. We will be tabling at opening night, And I am planning on reaching out to OSI in about the final weeks of July or the first week of August to get tabling events about every single week, maybe twice a week for the in front of the student union, the tables outside.
Holmes?
Will you be is this possible? Because I know in the finance code, it says, potential promotional material needs to say funded by SG, funded by student government. So will you be having that on the promotional items you're requesting, or is that possible? Because it's
Yeah.
a cloth.
I'll take that. So the individual actually redid the artwork to make sure that funded by student government was on there. If you look in the link, there's 2 separate folders, one for the quotes and one for the artwork. So you'll find that in there. No, you're all good. Follow up?
No, I remember now. I remember reading the thing, but no, you're good. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Are there any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. McClellan?
Move debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in debate. Foster?
I work orientation every day for 12 hours a day, every single day. And I see a lot of different organizations table in there. A lot of prospective students like to come up to different RSOs and they're really interested. So I think just having this piece of tablecloth, even if it means a lot to just having more people in your club, it's really important to the culture of UCF and getting people like really involved in the campus and what's going on the campus. I really love it. I'm going to vote in favor, and I encourage everybody else on the committee to do as well.
Anybody else? If not, I will take a motion. McClellan?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on allocation 5407. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be voting procedures. All those in favor? All right, all those against? All those abstaining? With a vote count of 7-0, congratulations, allocation 5407 passes for $318.44. All right, just kidding. Can I get a motion to vote on the artwork?
So moved.
All right, we'll now be voting procedures. All those in favor? All those against? All those abstaining? With a vote count of 7-0, the artwork passes favorably. All right, now congratulations. All right, awesome. Bills, none. Resolutions, none. Member discussion. Anyone wishing to speak in member discussion? Seeing none. Miscellaneous business. Borges?
Move to adjourn pending final roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in final roll call.
Hello, everyone. I just want to see if Michael Samuel is here.
Present and voting.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so Chair Millington?
Present.
Senator Vice Chair Anderson is present. Senator Heinskill? Absent.
They can hear me too. Senator Heinskill is absent. Quit messing with the agenda really quick so I can focus. Anyways, Senator Holmes. Present. Senator McClellan.
Present.
Thank you. Senator Palmer.
Present.
Thank you. Senator Richard. Absent. Senator Samuel.
Present.
ORS Committee Rep.
Present.
Pro Temp Rep.
Present.
All right, 8 of 9.
Awesome. Thank you. I hereby adjourn this meeting at 7:05 p.m.
All right. Hereby adjourn this meeting at 7:09 PM. Fiscal Committee report, CRT Committee, Chair Borges.
Sorry, guys, give me like 2 seconds. So in committee, I don't know why there's an extra space there, but new business allocations, we postponed allocation 54064 by general consent. We approved allocation 54065 with the vote count of 4 to 0 to 0. We approved 66 with the vote count of 4 to 0 to 0. We approved 67, vote count 4 to 0 to 1, and 68 with the vote count of 5 to 0 to 0. So hey guys, like I said, postpone 1, approve 4. We also worked in a QR code that directs you to our FAQ sheet that we can give to the front desk staff when they are asked questions about funding, which would be great for them. Fiscal leadership is working on reverse tabling at opening night on August 21st. We're going to try to work on pamphlets and have things prepared so RSOs can know they can get funding from us. And I believe ages assessment is in Senate form. So we're not doing ages assessment. So I'm done. Thank you.
Any questions for Chair Borges? Seeing none, FAO Committee report, Chair Millington.
Hey guys, sorry about the caucus time, but we approved allocation 5407. As Chair Salcedo mentioned, we have a FAO promo item edition workshop coming up on July 27th. And also really quick for all the new senators that are up for confirmation, consider joining FAO. That was my little plug, but that is it.
Any questions for Chair Millington? Seeing none, ORS Committee report, Chair Temple.
Good evening, Senate. We saw 6 post-funding reviews wherein we sanctioned 1 at 5%, 1 at 20, and 3 at 30%, and postponing 1. We reviewed 5 verification of purchases forms, approving 2, postponing 3, and we saw and approved 1 post-funding form. Finally, we voted on a new ORS logo created by Vice Chair Robbins, but to whom I will now yield to.
Hi, everybody. So we're not going to do Scarlet snapshots just for the sake of time. But I do want to let you guys know that if anyone has general questions about ORS, please refer them to our ORS key that we finally got submitted this week. It's going to be up on the SG website in due time. Also, I want to plug ORS, of course, for our new senators coming in. Number 1, welcome. And number 2, we would love to have you on our committee.
Any questions for ORS leadership? Seeing none, fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, bills, fiscal bill 5405, funding for Chabad Jewish student group to host the high holidays at Chabad on September 25th, 2022 by Vice Chair Almenars, hereby remanded to FAO. Resolutions, none. Special acts, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, bills, fiscal bill 5404, funding for 13 members of the Human Factors and Ergonomics Society to travel to the Human Factors and Ergonomics Society annual meeting in Atlanta, Georgia from October 10, 2022 to October 14, 2022. Senator Wanjin. Is there a motion for 5-minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections? Seeing none. Senator Potier. So noted at 7:12 p.m. Senator Wanjin, 5 minutes when you're ready.
So to my knowledge, the RSO is not here. Nothing's changed from last time, but I do understand basically everything that's on here. So if you have any questions, you're free to ask. I yield my time.
We're now online for questioning. If there are no questions, I'll take a motion. Salerno.
I noticed that there are 13 members and 4 rooms. Are you aware on how the lodging is being organized?
I know that they wanted to only have 3 people in a room, but then they had 13. So one room will have 4, the other 3 will have 3.
Any other questions? If not, take a motion. Ms. Sarah,
Move to debate.
there's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Chair Hall, then Chair Borges.
Yeah, so like I said last week, had to look up what ergonomics were, but I think that it's super dope, particularly, because it's such a niche topic, but it's really cool to see UCF representation within all sectors, including something more niche like this. I think it's a great opportunity for them, especially from what the RSO sponsors or the RSO talked about last week. And I think that there's a lot of potential opportunities for networking and engagement that, again, for a more niche sector can be very invaluable. So I definitely will be voting in favor.
Borges,
May I retain?
you may not. We're going to stay in debate until we get at least 20 people looking at this document. Chair Borges.
Understandable. This looks good. It stayed the same. I trust Senator Wanjin to have met with them, and it looked good in CRT too. So I'll be voting in favor.
All right. Like I said, we're going to keep going until we get people looking at the legislation that we're voting on. So I'll take more hands. Almanar.
Yeah, I think it's really good to be able to send our RSOs to the different conferences they want to go to. So I'm supporting this one.
I'll keep taking hands. We're not at 15, or we're not at 20. So I know.
I think it speaks volume at the fact that they are willing to cram 4 people to a room. So I will be voting in favor. I think this topic and the representation of UCF is incredible. We always want to make sure that we are supporting our students, and this is an amazing way to do so. Always talk about coming back to Senate and talking about what their experiences are. Hopefully this group can do so that we learn more about economics.
All right. We're now over 20, so I'll take a motion. Borges.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 28 to 0, Fiscal Bill 5404 passes favorably on 3rd reading. Notice of legislation on 2nd reading, none. Internal committee caucus time, none. Internal committee reports, ENA committee, Chair Gill.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well today. Special shout out to Vice Chair Almanar for leading this week's meeting. He's amazing, as well as the rest of the ENA committee. We passed all confirmations this week, so we'll be seeing them. A lot of confirmations this week, so please make sure you're engaged. We also saw legislation by Chair Borges, which also passed through committee as well favorably, and we'll be seeing that on the floor. And then lastly, just a reminder, please be respectful and kind in confirmations tonight. We are addressing people. Make sure to address qualifications, not character attributions, nothing like that. Just be respectful in general. And then lastly, I attached the Senate materials for all the Senate confirmations tonight, some Senate questions for each position on exec. I really urge you guys to look at those as they have questions for GAC and diversity and inclusion coordinator that are specific to those positions. So I really encourage you to look at them, and then as well as the exec materials for the confirmations for tonight. With that, yeah, that's all the announcements I have.
Any questions for Chair Gill? Seeing none, GAP committee report, Chair Hall.
Alrighty, hey everybody, happy Thursday. I got a couple announcements here, but we had a great meeting in GAP yesterday where we talked about, a ton of different ideas for Ignite Your Vote 2022 that we'll be compiling into a proposal for the upcoming campaign. So I appreciate the input of all the GAP members that participated. I've linked that we still have open spots for orientation tabling, so please be sure to put your name down if you are interested. We need people to talk about how amazing student government is to freshmen. We will have more information about the nature of the Ignite Your Vote campaign with conversation about the election commission taking a more direct role, as well as maintaining that all the branches be more a part of it than it has in the past to make it as effective as possible, because we are committed to the whole government approach. The next thing that I have linked is our student priority survey and how we are continuing the dispersal of the survey. As of this moment, we currently have 93 responses, which is great. We've discussed some trends currently seen that are viewable in the GAP minutes. If anyone is interested, when the survey is finally completely done, all of the final results will be sent to all of Senate, but doing a periodic trend update so you can see how students are viewing the different issues that we have, because on the survey there are 23. Remember to fill out the Ignite Your Vote 2022 interest form if you're interested in being more directly involved in the campaign. That's something, it's not a commitment, it's just to get more information if you're interested at all in participating in anything in the future. We want to get some more responses from Senate, but I am going to try to work with the executive branch and judicial to send that form to their respective SG agents as well, because again, if we want this to be as successful as possible, we need every branch participating, and I will force them to participate if need be. So the last thing that I did want to say is to personally thank Director Turner for working extremely cooperatively with GAP on this survey. She is definitely a rock star, going above and beyond. The fact that Chair Holmes also mentioned Director Turner speaks volume to the fact that she is going above and beyond, considering the amount of work that has been placed onto her. So I really do appreciate all of the work that she has done. With that, I will yield for any questions.
Any questions for Chair Hall? Seeing none, LGR committee report. Chair Uran.
Sorry, from Zoom tonight. We had a pretty constitutional.
I'm not sure we're hearing you entirely well. If you want to retry that, or I can have Vice Chair McClellan read the report. Vice Chair McClellan, do you want to read it?
Sure. Hey everyone, we had a busy meeting this week. We passed all 3 constitutional amendments favorably, as well as 4 internal bills favorably. And we also approved 5 absence requests.
Any questions for the LGR committee? Senator Spalding?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if this is something that you can answer now, but basically, pretty soon, like next week is our last meeting. So when is the last, because I also know that like as a requirement, we have to attend the first meeting of the Senate session, but when is like the last day we can submit like absence requests for like the session starting in the fall? Or like when can we start rather?
Vice Chair McClellan?
If you wanted to, I suppose you could submit. There's nothing that says you can't submit a absence request for the fall now. Just know that if you're going to submit one, do it 24 hours before next Wednesday when we meet, and we'll be able to see it in that next week's meeting.
Is that a follow-up, Senator Spalding?
Yes. Does that count for blanket excuses? I'm sure it's something different, but I'm not quite sure how that would.
As long as what you're requesting counts as a blanket excuse, so primarily for academic reasons, yeah, we will see that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for LGR leadership? Seeing none, SBA committee report, Chair Salerno.
Good evening. I hope you're all doing well. I have a few updates. If you would like to see Tuesday's agenda, it is hyperlinked. SBA saw Proclamation 5412, a proclamation recognizing August 2022 as Black Business Month, introduced by the Black Caucus, and it passed favorably, unanimously. We will be collaborating with Non-Traditional Nights in the creation of a website for non-traditional students of the university. For those who don't know, a non-traditional night is a student who identifies as an international student, a student that is a parent, a student veteran, or adult learner. And then I just wanted to do a quick shout out to Senator Becerra and Senator Beaumont, who are spearheading all of the research. They are awesome. We love them. Next, you'll see a debrief specifically regarding Resolution 5401. We had a meeting with Chief Metzger last week. It went really well. This report was done by Senator Moe. If you have any questions, you can direct them to Senator Moe or myself. I was also present at that meeting, so if you have any questions, just let me know. As a reminder, our committee is hosting a gun violence roundtable on September 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. If you're interested in introducing, oh, that should have been another point. Okay. If you're interested in introducing legislation or have an idea, please let us know. We really want to help you advocate for our nights. And then lastly, SBA will be hosting monthly volunteering and bonding opportunities in the fall semester. Vice Chair Anderson is spearheading this, and we are so excited. The first event will be a collaboration with Project Downtown Orlando, which is spearheaded by our very own Director of Student Affairs, Ragad. And then I'll yield to my Vice Chair.
Hello, everyone. I was not expecting to speak, so thanks, Salerno. I appreciate that. Pretty much all it is just I will keep you updated with the volunteering. I am expecting everyone to at least attend one volunteering option. SBA, everybody will be automatically volunteering at least once, but I just encourage you to please get your face out there and let people know your name, introduce yourself, and just be open to it. If there's any things that you want to do in order to further you as a student, but also further you as a senator, then please go ahead and let us know. We're here for you. So thank you.
Any questions for SBA leadership? Seeing none, confirmations, Chair Gill.
Yes, we will now be going through confirmations. The E&A minutes are attached, and we will start confirmations with Aiden Trainer for the College of Arts and Humanities Senate Seat 1. Aiden is here if you want to go to the podium up there.
Is there a motion for 5-minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections? Seeing none?
Wow, I am really excited to be here. This is my first time in the Charge On Chamber. A lot nicer than I originally thought, so I'm really happy to be here. Hello, my name is Aiden Trainer. I am a third-year political science student here at UCF. Before I chose political science, though, I actually came to UCF as a music major, playing violin with the string orchestra. I realized my sophomore year, perhaps this wasn't the best for me. So I decided to actually go into a double major in political science and history with 2 minors in diplomacy and music. So a little bit about me. Prior to coming to UCF, I graduated the International Baccalaureate program, and I am an Eagle Scout. On campus, currently I'm working as an orientation leader with first-year experience, working 60 hours to learn more about our student body and embody the UCF Creed. As opposed to the summer, during the academic year, I am actually a vendor with the student market on Wednesdays. I sell clothes. It's a lot of fun, and I get to see everybody on campus. And in my free time on Tuesdays, I like to go out to the skating society and have a little fun. So beyond just me, I'm here to propose a few initiatives, which the first one will begin with what I call the problem of the Strode. Now, you're probably wondering, what is a Strode? I'm going to get into that, believe it or not. So before I explain what that is, I think it's important to understand what the definitions of street and road are. So with a road, the best way to think of it is just a highway. It's a place for cars to be able to move as fast as possible, efficiently move people and goods in a way that's not going to endanger anybody. There's going to be minimal turns and fast speeds. Streets, on the other hand, are designed for livable, walkable communities. So if you are a person who's living in a city, you're pretty much only going to see streets. There aren't going to be many cars, and it's going to be focusing on pedestrian and bicycle paths. That brings me to the Strode, a combination of street and road. America has a plethora of Strodes, and you'd think, hey, if we have a lot of Strodes, they must be good, right? They combine the worst qualities of both a road and a street, because if you're a car driver, you're going to come across a lot of stops, a lot of turns, and just because of that, you can't go at high speeds. You have to accommodate for other people. And as when it comes to streets, it's not really helpful for for people either, because just of having cars on the road, it's not very safe. So that's actually why I'm here, is to talk about the issue of the roads outside of UCF, or should I say the Stroads. So believe it or not, in 2016, we actually came up with legislation to address this problem, because in 2014 and 2015, a student government official was hit not once, but twice by cars as a pedestrian trying to cross from off-campus residences to on-campus. And honestly, that's just not acceptable. From 2005 to 2014, there were over 250 injuries and accidents on this road, and unfortunately, the deaths of 11 people. And that's just not acceptable, and we should understand that we as a community need to look not just on campus, but for off campus as well. So going into this plan that was proposed in 2016 was an $11 million plan and was decided with the Orange County Board of Commissioners and Florida House Representative Carlos Smith, in order to not just accommodate for people who are off campus, but on campus as well. There's going to be a renovation of the signs outside of UCF to make it more themed, and also increase safety for pedestrians and bicyclists. So it's 2022 now, and this plan that was enacted was, it's not in action. And so I'm here to bring justice, not just for the people who lost their lives on these roads, because believe it or not, a few weeks ago, there was actually somebody who died on a motorcycle. Regardless, I'm here to bring justice to those people. It's time to look beyond just UCF and its campus to recognize that we as a community need to think of our people who are not commuting by car and to create safety measures that will best help them. I'm really excited to work with all of you. I have a lot more initiatives, but I'm running out of time. So I'm really excited, and I hope to work with you all this year.
We're now in line for questioning. All right, well, we have a lot. All right, we'll start with Becerra, Costas, then Salerno.
Hello. Do you mind talking about one other initiative?
Okay, yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for asking. So I'm really passionate about eating healthy, and I think that as a community, we also need to recognize that people who don't have cars can't go off campus to get healthy food. So I want to work with local farmers to actually have a farmers market at the same time as our student market on Wednesdays. Additionally, I also want to work with the Arboretum to expand opportunities for people who are looking to get involved with the Arboretum, to expand farming and then have those foods with Knight's Pantry to work together to help people eat healthier on campus.
Senator Costas. Senator Costas.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in the car. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay. Hey, Arden, I really enjoyed your speech. I like your style. I want to ask, do you have any initiatives regarding sustainability and climate justice?
So with all of my initiatives, I plan to help work with President Cartwright's goal of achieving by 2050 a carbon neutral campus. This initiative is the perfect way, well, the initiative for this infrastructure is the perfect way to create an existing community for those who are off campus, the thousands of people that are not going to be able to live on campus housing. By reducing the amount of cars on campus is going to increase sustainability.
All right, we're going to go Salerno, Simcoe, then Temple. Chair Salerno, you have the floor.
May I ask two questions?
You may.
The first one is, what committees are you looking to join if confirmed as a senator?
Already asked in ENA, so we'll hear your second question.
My second question is specifically, why did you decide to change from music major to political science?
Well, it's funny you ask that. So I played violin since 4th grade, so I spent a lot of time doing it. And I love the program. The teachers are fantastic, but I came across a decision talking to my teacher. He said, hey, you're going to have to practice like 3 to 4 hours a week if you want to move on from general music to music performance. And while I love the violin, I knew that I wanted to do more for people. And also I didn't physically have the time to put in 3 to 4 hours of work on top of all my classes. So that's why I changed. And I think it worked out for the better.
Senator Simcoe.
Hey, Aiden, love your speech on Stroads. As a transit enthusiast myself, I was wondering if you'd be interested in working in any multimodal transportation initiatives such as bus rapid transit.
Like as a future career?
I meant now, like if you were approved in Senate.
I definitely could see that as being part of the initiative. I mean, it's not just going to be roads that need to get overhauled, it's the whole system itself. If we want UCF to expand, not just on campus, but off campus, and to support that environment, you know, we need to think of all options. So yeah, I would be interested.
Chair Temple?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was going to ask 2 questions, but Chair Salerno had already beat me to the punch on that one. But nevertheless, good evening, Mr. Trainer. Loved your speech on Strodes. I've actually never heard of those before. So that's actually very insightful. So I'm reading through the E&A minutes, and it says here that you wanted to join GAP, which it's already making me a tad excited, but I'll get straight to my question. Do you have any specific initiatives insofar as advocating for students at this event we call Day at the Capitol? Do you have any ideas as to how we can lobby effectively for students going forward?
Honestly, I'm not too sure, but I'd love to work with you on that. I'm really passionate about GAP. I've already spoken to Representative Carlos Smith, and that's something I'm really passionate about because in the future, I want to become a foreign service officer and work with the State Department. So it's right up my alley. I'd love to work with you on that.
Any other questions for the candidate? Ms. Sarah,
I retain.
you may.
How do you plan to juggle your time with your like classes and extracurricular activities? Because I see that you're pretty active in like what you do right now.
So I guess I should talk about, my own personal beliefs. I'm built on 2 mottos: to always do my best and always be prepared. And obviously I do have a lot on my plate, but I've always managed to push through. I mean, just in the past couple of weeks, I was juggling 3 classes with a 60-hour work week. And I'm doing just fine with that. I think if I can make it through any of these challenges, that I'm going to be able to push through in the fall and the spring.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, a lot of hands. So we're gonna go Almanar, DeMarla, Hall to start.
So I will be debating in favor of this nominee for this open Senate seat. It's very telling that they have an entire initiative planned out just to get going as if they were to be confirmed. The initiative is a very important one to our community. If you don't know, Orlando is, not sure if this is true anymore, but it is the highest pedestrian mortality rate in the United States. We're the most unsafe city for pedestrians and cyclists. So even if in our little UCF community and area, we can slightly improve things, hopefully the impact here can impact other areas within our community. I will be voting yes.
DeMarla?
I'll also be voting in favor for this candidate. I read through their 7-page proposal on Strodes. It's beautiful. There's a really good title page, pictures, so I know what's going on, citations even. That's crazy. So the amount of effort just to put in for a proposal to come into Senate just shows like how passionate he will be when he actually joins. So yeah.
Chair Hall?
Yeah, so Senator Marlowe at least took a part of it. I have a feeling Strode is going to be something in all of our vocabularies by the end of the year, but more particularly love the GAP energy, but also just kind of looking more broadly at not just the experience that you have had on campus and off campus that I think will make you a valuable addition to this body. I also think that generally from my interactions with you thus far, that there is an energy of willingness to participate, willingness to engage. And I think that you have a lot of skills and experience that will be very beneficial to us as a body. So I will be voting in favor.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Chair Gell?
Move to vote on the confirmation of Aiden Trainer for College of Arts and Humanities Senate Seat 1.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Aiden Trainer for the College of Arts and Humanities Senate Seat 1. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now voting procedures. With a vote count of 35 to 0. Congratulations, Senator Trader. Chair Gill?
We will now be seeing the confirmation of Ashley Tribble for College of Arts and Humanities Senate Seat 2.
Ashley, you have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. It's hard to follow up Strode's, but I'll do my best. Just want to start off by saying thank you for having me, and I'm grateful to be here. As has already been stated, my name is Ashley Tribble. I'm studying English creative writing, and I'm going to be a sophomore this upcoming fall. As an English major, when I saw that there was an opening to become a representative for the College of Arts and Humanities, I knew that I wanted to go for it. The better parts of my middle school and high school careers were spent participating in programs very similar to student government. So I knew this was an opportunity that I definitely wanted to take advantage of. But once I knew I wanted to pursue this position, I felt the need to evaluate my motives and my ambitions. So beginning with understanding the role and why I wanted to fulfill it. In a nation that values representative democracy, there are frequent occasions when the people we've chosen to represent us fail to sincerely fulfill their roles. And as a young American, I understand that myself and this generation will have to actively pursue fair representation in order to promote any sort of change. So when applying that to myself, I see myself taking action by becoming a senator and making my initiative solely to fairly and accurately represent those who aren't in this room. When focusing this initiative on my own college that I would be representing, I want to ensure that the students and faculty within the many disciplines offered feel that their concerns are actually being addressed. And at a school largely dominated by the sciences, it's easier to overlook the smaller colleges. And I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So with these initiatives in mind, and with the help of hopefully my fellow senators, I look forward to making improvements to the College of Arts and Humanities by ensuring this trustworthy representation. Thank you.
Great, we're now in line for questioning. Chair Temple?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good evening, Ms. Tribble. 2 questions, if I may, Madam Speaker.
You may.
Thank you. So I'm reading through the ENA minutes, and I see that you weren't able to come up with any of the requirements for a sitting senator during that ENA meeting. Have you been able to read into what those requirements are? And if so, can you please name me at least one?
Yes, I am so sorry. That was so embarrassing during that meeting. I think I just misinterpreted or just misheard. I think it was Mr. Foster that said it. I have no idea. I felt so bad because I made him repeat the question so many times. But yes, I know several of the senatorial responsibilities. Just to name a couple, it's a year-round commitment and you have to serve on at least one Senate committee. Yeah, sorry, I don't know where that went wrong, but I'm glad that I got to clear it up now.
And then my second question will be that insofar as regarding your initiatives, you want to take a look at interdisciplinary requirements for students. So how would you go about instituting such requirements? Like, who do you wish to talk to, and how do you suppose Senate can help you initiate this goal of yours?
Okay, so I don't have anything directly specific as far as how I'm going to attack that right this moment, but I know the Senate would be there to help me, one, just for networking, see who everyone else knows, and then maybe from there I could meet someone else from my college. I know I have fellow senators from the same college, see if they know any faculty or even some students who have concerns regarding interdisciplinary relationships, and then move from there, see where the urgency is, and see where one discipline could be helping another. Say music could be helping theater, then I'd go there and see where myself and the fellow senators could make some changes.
Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Chair Hall?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Vice Chair DeMarlo.
I'll be voting in favor for this candidate. I was there for the ENA confirmation, and she did an amazing job answering the questions. She really seemed like she really wanted the position. And the one thing I guess that was a little bit of an issue was definitely cleared up here. So I find no reason not to vote her in.
Any other debate? Chair Hall?
I'll echo the sentiments that I think that the nominee is very qualified. I think they bring a unique perspective to the College of Arts and Humanities. I think that their experience prior to college will actually inform a lot. I know you did a lot of kind of government-like things that I think will definitely be beneficial. And I think that you have just shown the energy and willingness to learn in this chamber, so I'll be voting in favor.
Pro Tempore Foster?
I would like to echo the sentiments of Chair Hall. I asked her the question at E&A about the requirements for a sitting senator. She wasn't able to answer that, but the fact that she actually went back, did her homework, was able to look it up, research it, and answer it like on the spot tonight, it really speaks volumes to who she is as a person and her character, her willingness to learn and commit, and I'll be voting in favor.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Chair Gell?
Move to vote on the confirmation of Ashley Tribble for the College of Arts and Humanities Senate Seat 2.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Ashley Tribble for the College of Arts and Humanities Senate Seat 2. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now voting procedures. With a vote count of 36 to 0 to 0, congratulations, Senator Tribble.
Thank you.
Chair Gell?
We will now be seeing the confirmation of Yashika Modha for the College of Business Administration Senate Seat 1.
Yashika, you'll have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Hi, everybody. I'm Yashika Moda. I am a current rising senior, and I'm studying economics with a minor in political science. With my experience at UCF, I've actually been a part of many RSOs within the College of Business, such as Alpha UCF, which is it's a professional development organization, which is open to all majors. I've learned a lot from just being in that organization. I've been able to gain 2 internships from it, network with so many different people. It's such a diverse organization. I'm Asian American and I'm in it, but it's geared towards Hispanic Americans, like Hispanics and Latinx. And so it's just very diverse. It's very open-minded, and that's really helped me a lot. Another organization I've been part of is Pegasus Group, which is learning about your technical skills. And I feel as though that's really important no matter what major you're in. It doesn't have to do with finance, but it can do with anything else. And yeah, currently I'm actually working for Siemens Energy as a commercial project management intern, and I really enjoyed it. So the reason why I really did choose to run for the Senate is because I want to become a point of contact for the College of Business and ensure that the RSOs and the students get those opportunities that are very accessible for like what the college has to offer. I know that there are college ambassadors within the College of Business, and they do an amazing job making sure that RSOs and students get what they need and having that communication with the students and with the dean. However, I want to bring it to a larger scale, and I feel like bringing this to the Senate would be so much more impactful in a way, just because the entirety of the university can look at this. And also another thing I really want to do is advocate for women, mainly women of color. There's so many women in the College of Business, and I feel like they get overlooked because of the industry that we're in. And so I want to be able to help them market like those resources for them. So yeah.
Great, we are now in line for questioning. Anyone has a question for the candidate? Chair Holmes?
Hi, were there any caucuses that you wanted to sit on if you were elected as a senator?
Yeah, I would love to sit on the Asian caucus. I'm Indian, so I would like to, stick with my race a little bit. I feel like even though there's so many different types of Asian people, I feel as though it would be so diverse in just that one caucus as well.
Chair Temple?
My question was answered, but may I retain?
You may not.
Oh, sorry. I do have a question for the candidate myself. Sorry.
I'm sorry, the door was shutting as you were saying that. Could you repeat that?
May I ask a question to the candidate then, Madam Speaker? So Thank you. So good evening. So although my question about the caucuses was asked, how specifically do you intend on advocating for women of color on UCF's campus?
Yeah, so I actually gave my friend this idea of starting a club with inside the College of Business, which is going to be called Women of Business. We're basically just trying to advocate for women. I mean, yes, women of color as well, and it's really just to give women those opportunities that were not given in the business industry. Just because if I go to one of like an organization that's in the like an RSO that's in the College of Business, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be mainly men there more than women, and I feel as though women get discouraged to go to those sort of things, and I feel as though having a safe place for women and they can just interact with one another and get the same exact resources would be beneficial.
Chair Salerno?
My question specifically, how did you hear about Senate specific?
Yeah, so it's not really advertised in the College of Business, but with my political science minor, I was in a class this past spring, and I was just talking to some of my peers, and they were telling me about the Senate. And I was like, this is really interesting. Why isn't this advertised in the College of Business? Like, this is incredible. Like, it really brings everything to a larger scale, and that's really how I was advertised by it.
Any other questions for the candidate? If not, I'll take a motion. Chair Holmes?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Chair Millington, then Chair Patel, then Chair Temple.
I'll keep this brief, but I will be voting in favor of this candidate. I think their initiatives are awesome. I love their passion for women in business, and I also would love another woman business senator in here, so I'll be voting highly in favor.
Chair Patel?
I also like their initiatives, and honestly, they're a senior coming into the Senate, so it's going to be their last year. They have a lot of knowledge and experience from the last 4 years, and they can provide a lot of info and cause change that they want to. Also, being representing women like Leslie or Chair Millington said, so I'll be voting in favor.
Chair Temple?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will also be voting in favor of this candidate, not least because she's also an economics major, as am I. So we love to see it. But moreover, I do love to see her initiative in advocating for the Asian American community, because I myself have taken that so very deep to heart. So I would love to work with this candidate should they become a senator tonight. And like I said, I would encourage all my fellow senators to vote in favor.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Chair Gal?
Move to vote on the confirmation of Yoshika Moto for the College of Business Administration Senate Seat 1.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Yoshika Moto for the College of Business Administration Senate Seat 1. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 34 to 0 to 0, congratulations, Senator Mota.
Thank you.
Chair Gal?
We will now be seeing the confirmation of Seth Nimbarji for the College of Business Administration Senate Seat 3.
Seth, you'll have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Hello, and thank you all for having me here today. My name is Seth Nimbarji. I'm a rising junior here at the University of Central Florida, and I am a business economics major and also pursuing a minor in philosophy. My hobbies include running, lifting, health and fitness, and fashion. And I participate in my extracurriculars as a national debate finalist. I compete on the college debate team here, and as well as founding and the president of a club called the Redfield Project, an organization that raises awareness of sex trafficking, sexual abuse, assault, and rape right here in the UCF and Orlando area. This is an important problem because to me as an Orlando native, I've always known that Orlando is the 3rd highest city in the nation for sex trafficking. Therefore, I wanted to have a greater participation in trying to help solve this problem. When I compete as a collegiate debater, I use the knowledge I garner from psychology, philosophy, economics, political science, and communications to formulate coherent and sound arguments. And that is the skills that I bring with me into Senate. I want to look for where we can find what is the truth and how we can get to it, how we can formulate arguments, how we can formulate policies that are going to have a true impact on the student body. From debate theory, I have learned that there are 3 types of rounds: a policy round, a fact round, and a value round. In a policy round, we defined who are the responsible actors. We defined what is the problem and what is the solution that we can have, and how can we participate, and what are going to be the impacts of this solution. And from a fact round, I have learned how to always search for the truth, how to use the evidence and use reason to properly find what is the truth and what we can do with that, how we can have an impact with the truth. And then a value round has taught me to find values that are going to look towards the betterment of society. For me, my personal values are intellectual curiosity, education, safety, growth, and community. And these are the values that I bring with me into Senate. And these are the values that I use towards my goals and initiatives. My initiatives for the College of Business is that I often notice that many students that study business don't have a clear sense of direction and the opportunities that are out there. There is a world of opportunity out there. And as student senators, we have a responsibility to show people what these opportunities are. Therefore, I would like to further improve Night Connect, as well as further involve in the Office of Student and Professional Development to make sure that students who enter any single major are more aware of what opportunities are out there at UCF, what types of clubs and extracurriculars and networking opportunities they could participate within. So for example, a student studying business management would do well in psychology clubs, networking events, and social outreach programs. However, they wouldn't otherwise know that if we didn't improve the way that we communicate that to them. Therefore, we will have a number of students that will build their skills, passions, knowledge, and develop as individuals, not only within their careers, within life, because that's what we're here in college to do, to learn, grow, and develop as people. And this will adhere to the values that I have of education, growth, and community, and will bring for a better student body at UCF. I also would like to further push Redfield and safety initiatives. My organization will see a great deal of promoting student safety and awareness to the issues of sex trafficking, sexual assault, and abuse that happen right in this area. Therefore, I would love to bring those initiatives that I have to Senate to improve the student body in its entirety, and not just within my organization. This is where we can see safety scale. And this is where I believe Senate comes into great play. And with all that being said, this is how I would like to see my further representation to be had in Senate, not only to further participate in student government, but to better myself as a UCF student. Thank you.
We're now in line for questioning. Chair Borges, then Chair Yalamanchili.
I see in ENA you said you wanted to be on a financial committee. Have you narrowed that down to like a certain one?
Oh, no, I have not yet, but I would love to do further research, and I would love to particularly use economics knowledge because that's what I'm studying. So anywhere that would be relevant, but I'm still open to learning about all the opportunities there. Thank you.
Chair Yalamanchili.
Hello, Mr. Nimbargi. It's great to have you here. You said that you want to improve Night Connect. And what do you think the Night Connect can be made better with? And do you think that are there any problems with it right now?
Yes, so when I would go on to Night Connect, I often notice that it will just give you all of the organizations that are out there for UCF. And while that may be nice to know that there's a lot of options, we kind of fall prey to the paradox of choice. We feel overwhelmed about all the opportunities out there and then decide on nothing and then don't further ourselves. However, if you have an improved Night Connect that understands what your major is and what are the relevant clubs and organizations around that major, that narrows down your choices out there and furthers your direction so that you're not so overwhelmed and you're more likely to participate. So this can be an improvement made upon the website itself.
Any other questions for the candidate? If not, I'll take a motion. Chair Temple?
Move to go to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll go Holmes, Patel, Borges.
So I'm going to speak highly in favor of this candidate. I think the Night Connect initiative is very well thought out because I only got into Senate because of Instagram. Like I found out through Instagram and I applied. I only found out about BSU because hearsay. So I saw Night Connect and I was like, whoa, this is too much. So I think it's a great initiative. It's something that obviously has fallen through the cracks. So I'm going to vote in favor of this candidate, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Chair Patel?
I really like his involvement with the Redfield project. I think his initiatives are really deep rooted, and also in ENA, he expressed his intent to join the Women's Caucus. So I think he'd be a great addition to that. So I'll be voting in favor.
Chair Borges?
I might be a little biased, but he wants to join a fiscal committee. That'd be great. In addition, I talked to Chair Salerno about this a lot. Night Connect's a lot of issues, including the fact that it's not really accessible to any students who don't speak English. So I cannot wait to work with you on Night Connect. I'll be voting in favor.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Chair Gell?
Move to vote on the confirmation of Seth Nimbarji for the College of Business Administration, Senate Seat 3.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Seth Nimbarji for the College of Business Administration, Senate Seat 3. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 31 to 0, congratulations, Senator Nimbarji. Chair Gell?
We will now be seeking the confirmation of Jade Collins for the Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator position.
Jade, you'll have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Good evening, Senate. As stated before, I'm Jade Collins. I'm going into my 4th year here at the UCF. I'm currently studying political science pre-law, and for the past 3 years, I've had the opportunity and amazing opportunity to work in this very building, the Student Union. Initially, I was an event services associate, so I helped set up events, break them down, and for the past 6 months, I've worked as an event manager here in the building. Through that opportunity, I've gotten the chance to meet people from all walks of life, all over the world with different worldviews. They have pushed me to a deeper understanding, excuse me, of the world we live in and the way in which people see it. And in this position, I would really love to just sort of amplify that experience to those on campus here at UCF. In the past 5 years, I've worked almost exclusively in the theatrical realm. When I first came to UCF, I was a theater major studying, I was working towards a BFA in stage management, which focused on the fast-paced aspect of behind the scenes within stage management. It's what's in theater known as the thankless job. But we worked really diligently to organize productions and tell stories to communities that either hadn't heard those stories or experience, again, different perspectives in the world. And in this position, I'd mostly want to work on educating the student body on the things that are happening on and off campus. As the student government knows, this past July 1st, almost 150 laws were put into effect here in Florida. Some have the ability to disproportionately affect specific marginalized communities here on campus. And I think that because we are an institution that prides itself in education, as most institutions do, we should take the opportunity as a student government to educate those students on what is happening in the world that they're about to go into. Especially because, as many of us know, those students do not always have the same opportunities as others. And it's our jobs, and specifically in this position, I'd want to work on more equitable efforts to raising awareness on those changes in the world and the points and times when those students wouldn't be seen as degree-seeking, bright future-achieving individuals. And with that, I yield my time.
We're now in line for questioning. Chair Borges, Chair Saucedo, and then Chair Temple.
So I noticed in the ENA minutes, there was a question incorrectly answered. So I'll ask it again to give you another chance. Can you name all of our caucuses?
Yeah, we have the Disability Caucus, the Women's Caucus, the Black Caucus, the Women's X Caucus, the LGBTQ+ Caucus, the Asian Pacific Islander American Caucus, and the, I believe that's all of them.
Chair Saucedo?
Hello. So you described that most of your time here at UCF, you spent it mostly in theater, but I was wondering, I think I read this correctly. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so with your major in political science, how do you think that prepared you for this position?
Yeah, I initially got into political science after the summer of 2020 when I really got the opportunity to reevaluate my life and my voice in the world that we live in. From the very beginning of my time in theater, I was given the opportunity to work on how to use my artistry and advocate for the changes I want to see in the world. And so going into political science, I wanted to look into exactly how legislation affects those who are a part of marginalized communities. Initially, I wanted to look into anthropology because I really appreciated the aspect of how one studies a culture and how the parts of culture make up communities, which is why one of the initiatives I wanted to work on was the Interfaith Council. I think it has just a really amazing opportunity to look at those religions practiced here on and off campus by a majority of students, and how those religions affect them on their day-to-day basis, but also take that opportunity to think about the students who are coming into the university atmosphere, not having a close relation with the religion that they are a part of, and giving them the opportunity to reach out and discover and educate themselves on the opportunities that are out there. A lot of us have close ties to religion or may not, and I want to give other students that same opportunity to choose where they find themselves when it comes to that aspect of their life.
Chair Temple.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good evening, Ms. Collins. It's been a long while. So I remember back in the 53rd session, you were a senator sitting for the College of Sciences. So I have to ask, how would your experience in Senate and everything that you've learned whilst in this body translate to you becoming the new diversity inclusion coordinator, should you be confirmed tonight?
Yeah, it's good to see you too, Senator Temple, or sorry, excuse me, Chair Temple. I definitely would think about my time in Senate previously as an opportunity to understand exactly how student government works. There's often not a missed opportunity, but just a furthering that student government can do to get information out to students about what's happening, like I said before, on and off campus. I also think that in my time here, I got the opportunity to sort of sit here and listen to students as they brought, whether it's their concerns, their requests for funding for trips, and just see the passion that a lot of those things brought out in them. And I think that through this position, I'd be able to have a more face-to-face opportunity to hear out those concerns and amplify those efforts as best as I can. Initially, I was just here to represent, the 1,000 students within my college, but I hope from this position I'd be able to connect the student government and be an empathetic ear to those in this body and outside of this body.
Okay, we're going to go Chair Salerno and then Chair Borges.
I have 3 questions. Is that okay?
You may.
Okay. My first one is, what aspect of the DI role are you looking to expand?
That's a really good question. One of the aspects that I'd want to expand is how this position unites student government, or the branches within student government. One of the first things I'd want to get in there and do, as something I've been able to practice in my time in stage management, is working with each of the caucuses and learning about the events that they're either planning to attend or planning to throw, and make a master document or a master calendar for those events, just so that all of student government and students on campus have the opportunity to work or plan what events they want to go to when looking into this upcoming school year. A lot of us have really busy schedules, and as we're sort of getting this information week by week, I'd want to give students that opportunity to sort of plan out their lives.
Thank you. My second question is, what departments are you looking forward to collaborating with?
I'm definitely looking forward to collaborating with as many departments as I can. Specifically, I'd love to work with each of the caucuses on, again, looking at the past legislation that's been passed here in Florida and seeing what they feel that they are comfortable taking on, and working on events that would hopefully give students the opportunity to learn laws, have a better understanding of how those laws affect them individually as citizens or people who are here in Florida, and how those caucuses would like to sort of share that information or even educate themselves about them.
And then my third question is, how do you plan on extending your role to other campuses? Do you have any initiatives for the other campuses?
At this particular moment, I want to work on the initiatives that I created and sort of just translate them to Rosen and the downtown campus. One of the ones that come to mind immediately is the visibility effort I have for the LGBTQ plus community, which is having those something as simple as a safe space sticker within as many places that we can, just so that students and visitors of all of those campuses are aware that our institution does see them, acknowledge their experience, and stand in solidarity with them.
Right, Chair Bohr has your second question, then we'll go to Chair Holmes and then Chair Patel.
Am I able to ask my second and third question or no?
You may.
Right. So the second one then is, can you name any of the National Panhellenic Council, the 9 largest historically African-American Greek fraternities and sororities?
While I cannot name all nine of the Divine Nine, I can say that I'm looking forward to working with each of them, and especially in amplifying this effort towards making a diversity representation mural that's coming up soon. But I think that when it comes to the Divine Nine, they are a big part of campus that I appreciate, especially when they do come to the student union. They are, a big spirit. Everyone loves the events that they throw here, and I'm looking forward to working with them if appointed to this position.
And then the last question is just, obviously, welcome back. I know you're a senator, and I'm pretty sure you sat on SBA. I was wondering if you wrote any or passed any legislation dealing with advocacy.
I specifically did not get the opportunity to. I was sort of here on the tail end of the last session. But one of the things I was most proud of to work on in my time on SBA was the Eternal Nights efforts that we had. And I think that it was just really vital that we got to, and really an honor to work with SBA and highlighting the lives that were lost in the past about 2 years, and talking about the opportunities that students got while they were with us to better our campus and the lives that they affected.
Chair Holmes?
May I retain? No, yeah, may I retain?
You may not.
Okay. So may I have 2 questions?
You may.
Okay. So my first question would be, do you plan on sitting on all of the caucuses?
I definitely do plan on attending as many meetings as I possibly can with each of the caucuses. But I do hope to make a lot of change or hear as many concerns and help them in any way that I can.
And another question is, our caucuses kind of struggled with getting like tabling materials to be able to advocate to students. So would that be something that you could or would consider adding to your initiatives? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I definitely would want to work with the caucuses again in any capacity that would best benefit them, and whether it's how they are shown on campus, whatever they need to help themselves run, working at events. I've been given the opportunity to work on how to most efficiently run events, and I'd want to put that experience to use in this position if appointed.
All right, we're going to go Chair Patel, then Vice Chair Damarla, then Vice Chair Becerra.
Can I make a motion for a non-committee member to speak, that being Chief Justice Kerr?
You can make it.
Oh.
Just a matter if I see it or not. but you gotta
Motion
make it.
for a non-committee member to speak, that being Chief Justice Kerr.
There's been a motion for a non-committee member to speak, that person being Chief Justice Kerr. Any objections? Seeing none, Chief Justice Kerr.
Yeah, I just had a question for the candidate. So obviously with like House Bill 7 and other legislation being passed, it's kind of like strange right now. It's a weird time, but I think it's still important like to be able to educate people, and recognize that coming from different paths might affect the ways that we help respective students, if that makes sense. So I noticed one of your initiatives is educating marginalized groups on legislation, stuff like that. But I was also wondering like if you had any ways to work around this kind of legislation, like to continue to educate students about this kind of thing, or just like any ideas like that.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think that in efforts towards educating as many students as possible, it's important for us to work with RSOs here on campus that have any voice with those marginalized groups. So giving them the tools that they need to get that information to their members and as many students as possible. Social media has become one of the greatest tools of our society, and I think that just pointing students in the direction of the information they need is sometimes as efficient as letting them know the information. And again, we are an institution, so students I trust some students enough to look into what affects them, but also giving those students who aren't as politically active the opportunity to learn about those things is just as vital to me.
Vice Chair DeMarlo.
Do you think you can speak on what you would consider one of your most impactful steps towards your community?
Yeah, in the summer of 2020, myself and a coalition of peers and I put together a 15-page document talking about the discrimination that happened within my alma mater, my high school. And from that, we posted it and sort of got the opportunity to talk to our school county and superintendent, the administration of my high school, and discuss changes going forward and what needed to be done to make sure that those stories were heard, but also that in the future, those instances would not reoccur. And from that, I really got the opportunity to see my community come together and make sure that those stories were represented, that those voices were amplified. That effort was a catalyst for a lot of change within my school. I previously went to an art school, and in those efforts were, diversifying the curriculum, making sure that it's not as Eurocentric as it had been in the past. And again, giving students the opportunity to look into different parts of their art and again, help build that community to best serve future students of that school and others within the community.
All right, we'll go Vice Chair Becerra and then Chair Temple.
I was gonna make a motion,
All right.
but I'm just gonna yield it to Chair Temple, like my turn.
All right.
Thank you, Vice Chair Becerra, and thank you, Madam Speaker. One more question to you, Ms. Collins. So I've been hearing a lot that you wanted to educate students on the impacts of legislation and all the local concerns we have regarding everything that's happened in this state, which is bonkers, according to Chief Justice Kerr. So my question would be then would you be open to working with the GAP and SBA committees in your power as a diversity inclusion coordinator to further these initiatives?
Yeah, for sure. Again, like I was speaking about previously, I think that in working with each of those committees, I'd be given the opportunity to have a more direct connection to the RSOs that are of the senators that are sitting in that committee. And again, just more students or representation for the students of the colleges of those senators within those communities to get that information to as many students as possible. And I think that working with those specific committees would be an efficient way of doing that.
Any other questions for the candidate? If not, I'll take a motion. Pro Tem Foster.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll go Holmes, Spalding, then Gill.
So I'm going to speak in favor of this candidate. One, because she has found her niche. As you know, she was a senator before, but I think this position fits her extremely well. What's very unique about what this candidate brought to us is the fact that they're including the reality outside of this campus that's going on and affecting our students as well. And I think that's a huge initiative that not only affects our students, but can contribute to a lot of GAPS initiatives for Day at the Capitol, things like that. So I think this candidate is a really good candidate. And I really encourage you to vote in favor. I think that our caucuses are going to benefit from this individual's work. And I look forward to working with Ms. Jade. So I'm gonna encourage y'all to vote for her.
Senator Spalding.
Hi, yeah, I'm also going to be speaking highly in favor of this candidate. Her answers were just exactly what we needed, what I needed to hear, what we needed to hear. I think that she's going to be great things in this position. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she accomplishes. And so I, again, will be voting in favor, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Gill.
Yeah, so similar to the previous two senators, I will be speaking highly in favor of Jade Collins.
With her time in Senate, she was in SBA, and at the time I was vice chair of SBA. And so I can attest to her being very helpful in that committee. I can attest to her always being present and giving input. Truly, I can say that Jade Collins is a hard worker. I can say that she is very sincere and she is authentic. And I think that with those things of who she is and the initiative she has and just her perspective, would be so advantageous of our body to have her in this specific position. I really encourage everyone to vote in favor of her because I have witnessed some of her potential, and I think that this position will unlock so much for herself and for our body and for UCF in general. So I am highly in favor of Jade Collins, and I urge the rest of this body to also vote in favor for Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Chair Dell.
Move to vote on the confirmation of Jade Collins for the Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator position.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Jade Collins for the Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator position. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 33 to 0 to 0, congratulations, Coordinator Collins.
Chair Gall. We will now be seeing the confirmation of Courtney McLean for the Governmental Affairs Coordinator position.
Courtney, you have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Good evening, Senate. It's very nice to see a lot of familiar faces tonight. A lot of people I've met this week and some that I knew before. My name is Courtney McLean. I am a sophomore here at UCF. I'm double majoring in journalism and political science on the pre-law track, and I'm here as the Governmental Affairs appointee for the 2022-2023 cabinet. I just want to take a moment to introduce myself to you all, present my relative experience to you, and express my motivation behind applying for this position. Throughout the 1 year that I've been here at UCF, I have gotten involved in a lot of groups and clubs very, very quickly on this campus. I'm a member of the Phi Alpha Delta pre-law fraternity. I am on the University Parking Committee. I am in Turning Point USA. I am in the College Republicans, and I work for Student Union Guest Services as a guest services associate. You might see me at the info desk downstairs or working at the All Night Studies. Outside of UCF, I work for the United States Senate. I intern on a campaign, and I do a lot of freelance journalism. That is just, I go out and do stories around Florida about the biggest things in news. I love doing that, love being on camera. It's a lot of fun. I've always been extremely interested in government at all levels, and I hope to work in government one day. Many of the experiences that I've had outside of UCF, I believe have prepared me to serve the student body within this role. And I believe that this would be a great position for me and that I can advocate for all of the students at Day at the Capitol. Also, I would love to speak to you all and set up personal meetings with you all if I was to get this position. I just want to make sure that I'm here for the students and that I am doing what is best for all of the 70,000 students here at UCF. Three of my biggest initiatives that I want to speak about very, very quickly is voter registration. That is a big deal this year with the midterms upcoming. I am hoping to get 100% of our students registered to vote this year. And I believe that there are a lot of great ways that we could do that. I have a couple of ideas. One is Ready, Set, Vote, which is kind of like where you would have an obstacle course and students could kind of go through that. They could be like, I don't know, running, there could be a bounce house, something like that. And at the end of it, they could register to vote if they would like. Another one is Nuggets, which is where students could come to register to vote and we give them Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets, I think, and we bring Nugget the horse. If you guys know the mascot, I think that that's a really, really good one. Also, definitely hosting legal fairs. That is something that I know was done last year and I want to continue with that. I think that's really, really important. That was all one. My second one is Do a Day at the Capitol. That is our That's the biggest thing I believe that I would have to do within this position. And I want to sit down with the GAP committee and be sure that we are taking the correct initiatives to Day at the Capitol this year. And I know that they have the student priority survey out already, which is where we kind of decide what we're going to be taking to Day at the Capitol, what we're going to be speaking about. So I would love to make sure that we take the correct initiatives to Day at the Capitol. I know that's very, very important. A third thing is a personal thing that I've come up with. It is the Alumni and Government Conference. I based it off of, I believe we had a women in sports conference last year. I think that it could be a day-long event in the Pegasus Ballroom. We could have people that graduated from UCF, alumni, and I think that we could have 6 of them, maybe 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. We could have them speak to the students. And in between, we could bring up our political RSOs and have them kind of speak about what they've accomplished this year. I think that a lot of people would be really, really interested in that. I've spoken to a lot of my friends and they think it's a great idea, a way to really
1
bring
minute
us
remaining.
together. And I yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. We'll start with Simcoe, then go to Yalamanchili.
Hey, I saw that you have an initiative regarding Day at City Hall and Day at the county, but regarding Day at the county courthouse, would you be interested in perhaps lobbying with county commissioners similar to like a Day at the county type event?
Absolutely. I would love to talk about that. I think that it would be a great way to get more initiatives out there to more of the local Orlando government. I think there's a lot that we can do here and a lot that we can do in Tallahassee.
Chair Yalamanchili, then we'll go to Costas and Sevilla.
May I ask 2 questions, Madam Speaker?
You may.
So number 1 is what would you do to hold yourself accountable and ensure that the student body advocacy agenda at the Day at the Capitol is devised in the most nonpartisan way possible in a manner that is reflective of the opinion of the UCF student body?
Yes, so I want to work with the GAP committee as much as possible on that. It is not I don't believe that it is really my decision. I think that it is a decision that I would make with the GAP committee. And also, I don't think that this is about me. I would not be bringing my personal politics into any of this. I leave my politics at the door every day when I walk in the office.
And my second question was, UCF students rank queer and minority issues highly. Do you think that it is important that that is reflected in the student body advocacy agenda?
Absolutely. I think that that is very, very important. As I have said, whatever the students want to bring to Day at the Capitol this year, I will work to bring today at the Capitol. That's very, very important. I remember that last year we had a page about LGBTQ+ issues, and I think that it would be important to bring that again. I'd hope that we can see that at Day at the Capitol this year.
Senator Costas?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what are some initiatives or concepts that you do want to see at Day at the Capitol that you want to see us lobbying for?
Can you repeat the end of that question? I couldn't hear the end of it.
Yeah, what are some initiatives that you would like to see UCF lobbying for, or like ideas that you might want to see us representing?
Yes, so I understand that one of the big ones that we may be taking this year that has been seen in the survey is mental health issues. I think that that's really, really important. I think that we could all agree that we should take that to Day at the Capitol this year. I remember last year I lobbied for sustainable infrastructure. That was a really, really good one. We talked about bringing more portable charging stations for electric cars. I think that's really, really important, as well as always student health and safety. Very, very important. And another one I know that we take every single year is Bright Futures, because every year we have to renew that and be sure that students are going to be coming in with that extra funding for all their hard work.
Right, Sevilla and then Becerra.
Hi, I'm just curious, what other positions in student government have you applied for?
So I've applied for Senate. Actually, I ran for Senate. I did not get that. That was last year. I don't think I knew enough people. And then I have applied a second time, but there was only one seat open, and I believe someone got that seat back that had been in previously, that they had left for the summer, and they got the seat back. I think those are the only positions I've applied for, just constantly applying for Senate.
Ms. Sarah?
Hello. How do you plan to work with GAP? I'm right. How do you plan to work with GAP this academic year?
How do I plan to work with GAP? Is that the question? So yesterday I got to go to the GAP committee meeting, and I thought it was great, had a lot of fun. I feel like a lot of the thoughts that everyone was bringing up kind of aligned with my proposal here. And I think that there's some wonderful things that we could work on. I would be excited to be in GAP every single week. I want to sit down with everyone in GAP one-on-one. I think that's extremely important. I'd like to sit down with Chair Hall and Vice Chair Temple. I think that there are a lot of wonderful things that we can do together, especially before these midterms coming up.
Follow up, second question.
I was going to ask if I could retain.
You may.
Can you describe a time when you were unbiased?
Yes. So I work for the United States Senate. I work in constituent services, and every single day that I work at the office, you get some awful phone calls. It's crazy. I will get people that I answer the phone and they're like, I hate you and I hate your boss and I hate everything about everything. And then they'll say, I need help with a specific issue. Usually they need help with visas, or they need a passport. And it's usually a very, very serious situation. You know, if people crying on the phone, it's very, very serious. And even, if those people's personal beliefs don't line up with my own, that doesn't matter to me whatsoever. I treat everyone the same way every single day, every single case, because what's important is making sure that we take care of the problem. And sometimes I get phone calls back a couple of weeks later from that same constituent, and they will be like, thank you so much for helping me after I chewed you out on the phone in the beginning of the conversation. And that's one of my morals. That's how I live my life, is I help everyone the same way, no matter what, personal beliefs or not, doesn't matter.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll go Uriah, Temple, then DeMarla to start.
All right, so unfortunately, I'm gonna have to be abstaining from the vote because I do know Courtney personally, but I know that she's a very unbiased and professional person. And honestly, like regardless of political opinion, I think she would be great and super qualified for this position. And I don't think that should really affect someone's quality and what they can bring to the table for this position. And I know that she's going to be a super unbiased entity and do a really good job. So I'm going to be abstaining, but I recommend that everyone votes in favor of her.
Chair Temple.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to echo the sentiments of Chair Uriah, and I would like to advocate for this candidate. Even though I and the candidate do share very different political opinions, I hope not only respect them, but I also love to see this variety of political thought, as it can very well improve our advocacy by showing that that the political ideologies of this country can work together. And this is a very important time where that rule needs to stand, especially when it comes to voter registration. And on that note, I do love the initiatives that the candidate proposed, especially for voter registration, like an obstacle course for voter registration. I would probably do that myself, and just for the heck of it, let alone to vote. So I would really encourage all of you to vote in favor of Ms. McLean to the position of the GAC.
DeMarla.
I also further the same sentiments as Chair Temple, because she's clearly shown that she advocates for the students. Time and time again, she shows that that's the one thing that she really cares about. Nothing else really matters. And I think that's the most important aspect for this position. Furthermore, for like all our constituents, it's very important that we do pick a GAC coordinator. And I think she fits the role really well. So that Day of the Capitol and Day of the County and whatever initiatives that we have in the future run very smoothly.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, Chair Gell.
Move to vote on the confirmation of Courtney McLean for the Governmental Affairs Coordinator position.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Courtney McLean as a Governmental Affairs Coordinator. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 27 to 0 to 7, congratulations, Coordinator McLean. All right, so I'll go and call everyone up now since there are no longer presidential appointments. So next we'll be seeing Justice Silva for the position of Internal Assistant Chief Justice.
Good evening, Senators. My name is Elizabeth Silva, and I'm excited and honored to be on this Zoom call today in hopes of being confirmed as the Internal Assistant Chief Justice. A little bit about myself. I'm a criminal justice student currently working towards a certificate in Spanish for the legal world. I was born in Spain to loving Cuban parents. They're my biggest motivators. I love them so much. A couple of my interests other than the judicial branch are Bad Bunny, the movie Coraline, and something that I'm looking forward to in the near future would be that I'm going to see The Weeknd live in concert in Tampa. I'm so thankful for this opportunity. I have nothing but gratitude towards you all who continuously attend and run these meetings every Thursday. I really admire the work that you do. For a position like this, the council needs someone who will stop at nothing to fulfill the council's necessities. I have been extremely loyal and worked diligently to earn my spot on this branch so far. I've applied, interviewed, and was confirmed for the first time back in January. I was shaking up on that stand, a nervous wreck, and thankfully you all senators recognized my true intentions and saw the potential in me. My turn unfortunately then ended, and I felt like my work for the council was definitely not done yet. So I applied for the associate justice position again, making it a point in front of my questioning in front of you all back in June that I wanted to expand my involvement in the council, seeking a leadership position. And here I am keeping that promise. I believe that I am the ideal candidate, but not just because, I think that I'm better than anyone else. It's more about the passion and drive and genuine care that I have for the council and its initiatives. And in the unfortunate case that I was not confirmed for this position, I would still make suggestions for my goal sheet and continue to put all of my contributions towards this amazing branch that I have the privilege of being a part of. I love student government and I love this branch. I have a specific memory from our spring retreat last semester. I was looking around, and although most of the members at the time were much older, much wiser, much more experienced, I still felt as though I could say anything that I wanted. Without any repercussions, ask any questions without any repercussions, no matter how dumb it was. And I feel like it's because they were my friends, truly. This isn't just like me saying that. I truly feel like when you go into this branch, they welcome you with open arms. And isn't that the true meaning of impartiality? I love how we're not only impartial in our work as justices, but we're impartial with each other, and we accept each other for who we are and work together to bring our goals to life. Moving forward, I'm so glad that I get the opportunity to talk to you all today, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you all have regarding my goal sheet and initiatives for this position. And with that, I yield my time.
We're now in line for questioning. Chair Borges.
I don't know if I'm missing, I don't know what the goal sheet is, but hopefully my question is not in there. So what are your initiatives and goals for SGLC and JLC, assuming you'll be spearheading JLC?
Right. So for JLC specifically, I know that in the past, I know external has like more of a say, not more of a say necessarily, but just since they did SGLC, they kind of know all the kids more. I want to, starting in SGLC, have more of a say in that as well, and just get to know those kids from SGLC. So when they do come to JLC, I just know the kids better. I get to just know them more on a one-on-one basis. And I know that like the mentee mentor program really helped me and other justices get to like how they, sorry, I'm like rambling on, but what I mean is that I really like that the way that the judicial leadership is worked out, and I would like to continue the way that it is, but I guess just having more of a say and getting to know the students better, because I feel like in the past, the internal didn't really get to know the students as one-on-one.
Or second question?
This is just more for the floor. Do you guys know where the materials are? I can't find them.
They're being put up right now. Chair Holmes?
Hi, Elizabeth. Nice to see you again. So my question would be, you described a lot about how judicial has welcomed you with open arms and you feel very comfortable in that branch. So how would you translate the environment, I guess, from judicial to the program that you'll be helping running, I guess?
Right. So I feel like the main reason that judicial has been such a family for me is what I said towards the end of my speech, is how impartial we are with each other. And even with our differences, we're not nasty with each other when we disagree on anything in our parking appeals. We always respect each other. And I always felt like even if I was the only one that had a dissenting opinion in a parking appeal, I could say that and it would be respected. So just keeping that energy when it comes to JLC and SGLC, just making sure that they understand that this is like a workplace technically. And just because we're working with people that we don't always necessarily agree with, it doesn't mean that we can't love each other and just like work together. Because some of the people that like sometimes I didn't see eye to eye with in parking appeals, or let's say I was the only one with a dissenting opinion, like outside of those cases that were being decided in that moment, they were like my best friends in the council, and I was able to talk to them all the time.
Any other questions for the candidate? If not, I'll take a motion. Sarah?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right. Becerra, Hall, Borges.
Yeah, I'll be voting in favor for this candidate. I like the initiatives. I like the energy that she brings forth, and I believe she will be a very good part of her role. And on top of that, I know she was part of SGLC and she showed a lot of passion in JLC. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll be voting in favor.
Chair Hall?
Yeah, I'll echo the sentiments of Vice Chair Becerra. I've never been to SGLC, it's a thing, but I think that something that does give me confidence, and this actually goes for both of the nominees tonight, is that I, as someone who's run an RSO, had the judicial branch come to visit. This nominee was actually the one that reached out to my RSO, and they accompanied now Chief Justice Kerr to it. They showed a lot of enthusiasm for the judicial branch. They've made it exciting, which is nice to see. And I definitely think that that's the kind of energy that we need, particularly in this role where they will be interacting with a lot of incoming freshmen and sophomores that are going to be very interested in student government. So I look forward to the work that the nominee will be able to do.
Chair Borges?
I'll also be voting in favor. She's amazing. In SGLC, she was awesome. She met the points and exceeded them. And I heard she did great in JLC. The only thing is I don't know where the supporting documents are, and I feel weird voting without seeing them. So if we can get those in before we vote. Are they? Where are they?
Sorry, they should be in the confirmations folder now.
There are any dissenting opinions? If not, I will take a motion. Gail?
Move to vote on the confirmation of Elizabeth Silva for internal assistant chief justice.
There's been a motion about on confirmation of Elizabeth Silva for the position of internal assistant chief justice. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 35 to 0, congratulations, Assistant Chief Justice Silva.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Shelby Morgan for the position of External Assistant Chief Justice. Shelby, you have 5 minutes when you're ready.
Hello, everyone. It's on, right? Sorry. Okay, to quickly introduce myself, for those of you who haven't met me, my name is Shelby Morgan, and I'm majoring in International and Global Studies with a minor in Political Science. And I'm honored today to be nominated for the position of External Assistant Chief Justice. I attained a position as an Associate Justice last spring, and it was an amazing experience to be a part of a council that works to promote and protect the rights of the student body. It inspired me to work towards a leadership position, and through the guidance of my mentors and other council members, I felt called towards this position. Last semester, one of the committees I was a part of was the Judicial Outreach Committee, which allowed me to gain excess experience in how outreach can be achieved as a branch. My attendance at other outreach events, such as Juice with the Justices, made me realize how much I enjoy connecting with other students, which is a critical aspect of this position. This leads me to my goals, one of which would be to make connections with judicial branch members at other universities in Florida. I think it'd be beneficial for us to exchange ideas and hopefully learn new strategies for judicial outreach as well as for internal affairs. Another initiative of mine is to expand social media outreach. I plan to work with the digital media coordinator to create judicial center content to post on the student government social media pages. I would also like to work towards enhancing tabling setup. Simple adjustments can make tabling more effective, such as like creating a QR code to pass out that will link students to our website, which I also think would be cool to try to like cut down on paper usage as well. I aspire to reach out to campus leadership members such as the Office of the President and college deans, because I think introducing our justices to such leaders would help us to foster a positive relationship with faculty and staff, which is one of my responsibilities, and would also help to further us with our other responsibilities. Expanding RSO outreach is another initiative I'd like to pursue. I think it's important for us to take the time to tell other RSOs what we do and inform them of their rights. And in order to enhance connections within student government, I think it would be beneficial to create an initiative to encourage justices to go to other branch events, which would help us to be more connected with other SG members and have a better understanding of each other's responsibilities. I know that another major role of this job is to run SGLC and JLC with the help of the ILA, Deputy Chief of Staff, and Internal Assistant Chief Justice. As a former SGLC member, I saw how impactful the program is, as it allows students to learn from mentors, create friendships, and immerse themselves in different aspects of the student government, creating the opportunities to grow in a professional setting. My time in SGLC allowed me to think of some of the ways I would like to enhance the program, which include initiating more large group activities in the second semester once students are separated into their branch leadership committees. I felt like many students were unable to build on the relationships they forged in the previous semester, which is why I would like to recommend doing large group events once a month or so in the second semester to allow students to continue to grow those relationships. I also think it'd be beneficial to bring in guest speakers so students could learn from other members of government and or UCF alumni who were former SG members. I would also like to create more accountability when it comes to following other guidelines set up in the SGLC program, which would create just a more secure way to verify attendance and create a more clear outline of the consequences of acting out while in the program. And finally, I would also like to put more emphasis on the mentorship aspect of the program, as I want students in SGLC to connect with members of each branch so that they can gain more insight into which path they want to pursue. I'm honored to be nominated for the position of External Assistant Chief Justice today, and I'm beyond grateful that I've gotten the opportunity to be a part of student government during my time so far here at UCF, as I believe it has allowed me to make a positive impact on campus. And thank you all for your time.
We're now in line for questioning. Is there anyone who has a question? Becerra?
Where are the materials again? Because I've been looking at them for a while.
They're in the confirmation drive and the Senate drive. Any questions? If not, I'll take a motion. You all get to decide this. Borges?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're on debate. Yalamanchili, Holmes, Borges.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will be arguing highly in favor of Shelby Morgan. She has done an excellent job in SGLC. I was there in SGLC, and she worked very hard, and she has a passion for student government and the judicial branch. And I remember that there was a time when I was outside the John C. Hitt Library, and she was tabling with Chief Justice Kerr, handing out judicial branch fidget spinners out to students and getting more people to know about what the judicial branch does, and expanding the awareness that people have about how the judicial branch can help them. And that's hard work. She has commitment and passion, and I support her for external assistant chief justice. I would encourage my fellow senators to vote highly in favor.
Chair Holmes?
Yeah, I think this one's a no-brainer. I'm going to be voting in favor of this candidate. I mean, I don't really see any other person fitting for this role. I can say the same thing for the last candidate we just saw. The initiatives are amazing. They bring some fresh ideas to the table, and I see a lot of bright future for judicial. So I'm going to be voting in favor of this candidate.
Chair Borges?
I looked through all the materials. Thank you for adding that. They looked amazing. You're amazing. You did great in SGLC. I'm voting in favor.
Are there any dissenting opinions? I'll take a motion. Paul?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the confirmation of Shelby Morgan for the position of external assistant chief justice. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 33 to 0 to 1, congratulations, Assistant Chief Justice Morgan. In case there's any confusion on that last one, the reason I allowed Chair Hall to make the motion to vote is because these weren't presidential confirmations or presidential appointments, rather. All right. Internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, constitutional amendments, none. Bills, Internal Bill 5420, updates to Title II, changing the definition of a student at large by Chair Borges, is hereby remanded to LJR. Resolutions, Resolution 5407, updates to Senate Rule 2, changing committee and caucus reports, Chair Borges, is hereby remanded to LJR. Proclamations, none. Special acts, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, constitutional amendments, none. Bills, Internal Bill 5414, updates to Title 8, updates to CRT spending policy, Chair Borges. Is there a motion for 5-minute speeches, 15-minute questioning, 15-minute debate? Any objections? Seeing none, Chair Borges, 5 minutes when you're ready.
I'm so sorry for all these pieces of legislation. It hasn't changed since last meeting, so I yield to questioning.
We're now in line for questioning. Becerra?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Temple, then Holmes.
All right, I was going to retain, but since Senator Holmes switched to debate, I will just debate. So this bill is pretty straightforward. We already passed it on second reading very favorably. So I would encourage my fellow senators to vote in favor of this bill once more.
Chair Holmes?
I'm no longer in debate. Can I make a motion? May I make a motion? Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the internal bill. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 31 to 0 to 0, Internal Bill 5414 passes favorably on third reading. Really quick, is there anyone who'd be willing to lend me their phones to help me time stuff because I need help timing? Anyone? Thank you. All right. Resolutions, Resolution 5405, resolution advocating for strict gun law reform in the state of Florida by Vice Chair Almanar. Vice Chair Almanar, 5 minutes when you're ready.
I'll try to keep it short because we have a lot of business tonight, but nothing has changed. There's only been a few additions and sponsors, and things have already been switched here. I just want to say nobody has reached out to me after last meeting to discuss the solution to the conversation that was had during debate about what an assault weapon means. Do what you want with that information, but yeah, I was hoping those who had issues would reach out. They did not. I will speak now on the issue of gun reform a bit, or gun violence. It's a really big issue. It was brought up in questioning / debate that what can this resolution do, if anything? And at the end of the day, realistically, this resolution won't get much done in the face of this issue, because this issue faces the nation. It faces many people every day in their everyday lives. What this resolution does do is it helps us as a body partake in our democratic process. It helps us be able to express the views of the student body and of some of our own senators within UCF Senate to those who govern us. Democracy isn't about voting once and then calling it quits for 2 years and then voting again in the midterms and repeating that cycle for 70 years until we pass away. Democracy is an active ideology. We have to partake in it in almost every facet within our lives if we want to see any impact or change happen. Like, let me use the civil rights movement for an example. It was not simply sit-ins that caused the civil rights movement to lead to the Civil Rights Act or the Voting Rights Act of 1965. It was many people across the country, across the South, different organizations, different leaders stepping up to the plate and advocating for what they believed in, right? This is a similar issue in the sense that there can't just be one person advocating or one group of individuals advocating for this. We all have to kind of step up to the plate. Hopefully this resolution adds to this discussion and adds to what we can try to do in the future. With that, I yield my time.
We're now in line for questioning. There are no questions. I'll take a motion. Senator Becerra.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Becerra. Daniela Machili.
Yeah, I'll be voting in favor of the resolution. I believe that, it is a problem in my opinion. And on top of that, maybe it won't go far, but like Vice Chair Almanar said, it's an important issue that we should be part of the democratic process for sure. And on top of that, it never hurts to try. Never know what could happen. So I'll be voting in favor.
Triella Machili.
We've had this debate before. I'm going to be voting in favor. Gun violence is pretty bad in our country. We have rates of homicide and gun crime way higher than other countries with much stricter gun laws. And I think this is a common sense resolution that essentially advocates for the safety of everyday people. And I'm going to be voting in favor of it. I encourage my fellow senators to vote in favor of it as well.
I'll take Senator Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also in favor of this legislation. I'm also in favor of gun control, for the most part, and a lot of it is very reasonable gun control legislation. It's advocating that, banning 3D printed guns, expanding funding for mental health resources, which, I think is also a pretty big aspect to the issue, expanding the 3-day waiting period, etc. You've already read the legislation. But what I am saying is that it's well researched, it's well backed. I mean, it's got everything that you would want it to. I mean, I think this is the absolute least that we can do about it. Like, we can exercise just at least like some of our very limited power, admittedly, to help the issue and actually get something done about it.
Are there any dissenting opinions? McClellan, then Costas.
I just want to keep it short. I do not believe that making getting access to guns stricter, making it harder for those seeking to legally own firearms is the right way to counteract the issue at hand. So I will be voting against, and I will be encouraging you all to do so as well.
Costas?
Yeah. The only thing I am dissenting from is the idea that it won't get much done. I just wanted to say that power is a finite resource that we have obtained in this body. And I know it's a small body, but we do have some leverage that we can use. And gun violence is not going to be going away anytime soon, and it's only getting worse. So I think we need to, like, while we might have the mentality, well, it's just a resolution, we should still organize and work to get things done to solve this issue, because it's affecting everyone we know everywhere.
All right, any other dissenting opinions? Almanar?
Not a dissenting opinion, but just opening the floor if anybody wants to make any last minute amendments, this would be the time.
If not, I'll take a motion. Parmar?
Move to go to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on resolution 5405. Are there any objections? Do you withdraw? Senator Parmar?
Yes, I do.
Chair Salerno?
I would like to make a motion to table this for next week. It feels, based on what Senator Almanar said, that there are some changes to be made. I know that we're saying to make changes now, but I don't think that it's in the best interest of specifically the Senate body as well as our student body for us to go into this legislation without knowing what it's intended to be, what it wants to do. And also, there's also discrepancy of what is an assault rifle. I just think that if we table it to next week, maybe we can work on something between now and next week.
We won't see a motion to table it to next week, because tabling means you'll come back to it during this meeting. You want to make a motion to postpone. Yeah.
Motion to postpone.
All right, there's been a motion to postpone resolution 5405 to the next Senate meeting. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. It's hereby postponed. All right. Special acts none, notice of legislation on second reading, constitutional amendments. Constitutional Amendment 5401 updates the title to Article 2, the legislative branch. Chair Borges, 5 minutes when you're ready.
This is a constitutional amendment that was passed by the 53rd session with a vote count of 31-0 and was never placed on the ballot during the last election. This was written by former Speaker Kehoe. This changes it from saying the student body senate shall express the will and sentiments of the student body senate through legislation to sentiments of the student body, which just makes a lot more sense. I yield to questioning.
We're now in line for questioning. There are no questions. I'll take a motion. Chair Holmes?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Holmes, then Costas.
I'll withdraw because it's not debate, it's a motion.
All right, Costas.
I was just gonna ask to retain.
All right, Chair Hall.
Oh, okay. All I was going to say was I do agree with the sentiment of the bill, especially just the way that we talk about issues here anyways, is that we represent the student body. So if, to be honest, we're only expressing the sentiments of the student body senate, we're representing like 45 people tops. So I think that this just kind of, it's simple, but just expresses clarity on the fact that we represent the student body at large.
Right, any other debate? If not, I'll take a motion. Temple,
Move to vote on constitutional amendment 5401.
there's been a motion to vote on constitutional amendment 5401. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 30 to 0, constitutional amendment 5401 passes favorably on second reading. Constitutional amendment 5402 updates Article 2 of the legislative branch. Chair Borges, 5 minutes when you're ready.
So you guys kind of heard what I'm about to say when I was talking about the resolution. So this one says the student body senate shall be comprised of a number of students who shall be known as student body senators, a senate president elected by us, a senate president pro tempore elected by us, and a number of agents elected or appointed as stated in Senate rules. As I said before, D is the important one. There's a lot of issues with it. We fixed that with the resolution. So why did I decide to submit this as well? Well, in the future, if anyone makes any positions or changes them or anything else only within statutes, then they would also have to be made in Senate rules. But if they don't do that, then they're technically not in compliance with the Constitution again. And it seems like we pay attention more and change more statutes. So by adding this in here, it kind of is a safeguard for our future senators and ourselves if we want to make or change positions, to just have it say student body statutes and Senate rules to make sure we're all encompassing and not messing with the Constitution. I yield to questioning.
We're now in line for questioning. If there are no questions, I'll take a motion. DeMarla?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections?
I object.
Do you withdraw?
Yes.
Any questions? McClellan?
Yeah, I have a question. So just for verbiage purposes, it says student body statutes. Statutes are laws enacted by a legislator, so that would really just include Senate Rules too, just verbiage wise. Do we just want to, would you be open for an amendment just to make it student body statutes or something that, I just don't want to be, redundant in the verbiage used.
I feel like with how we do our stuff here, even though they're all governing documents, they are kind of referred to separately, even though they kind of could be interpreted as connectively. So I think leaving them separate might be better, but if you have a good, really good, strong reasons why you want to, then I'm open to hearing that.
Any other questions? Second question, McClellan?
Actually, never mind. I'm sorry.
Anderson?
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Hold on, I need to get this timer going. We are now in debate. Is there anyone wishing to debate? Millington?
Keep it brief. I'll be voting in favor. It makes sense and it's a good proactive measure. So I vote everyone else to vote in favor.
Any dissenting opinions? Seeing none, I'll take a motion. Chair Hall?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the constitutional amendment. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 34 to 0, Constitutional Amendment 5402 passes favorably on second reading. Constitutional Amendment 5403 updates Article 3 of the Executive Branch. Chair Borges, 5 minutes when you're ready.
Move to PPI Constitutional Amendment 5403.
There's been a motion to PPI Constitutional Amendment 5403. Are there any objections? Do you want to take a vote on that? We'll vote on it. With a vote count of 25 to 1 to 5, Constitutional Amendment 5403 is hereby PPI'd. Bills, Internal Bill 5415 updates to Title 8. Chair Borges, 5 minutes when you're ready.
Probably the most controversial one. So to start, affiliated agencies are under the jurisdiction of student government, and they are held to our statutes as per an agreement that they make to receive funds through the activity and service fee budget. With this internal bill, we are given the power to approve changes to agencies and departments' constitutions, bylaws, and policies. I understand we don't want to be extremely invasive or controlling over our agencies and departments, but there needs to be oversight. I left it this way to allow the agency to recommend changes, but we can't amend things ourselves, which I think is a good thing. Why did this come up? Well, I had 2 past and 2 present agency directors come to me with concerns about outdated and incorrect constitutions, in addition to their experiences with their directors and professional staff breaking their constitutions and wanting to change things without the best interest of their board and the student body in mind. As of now, there's nothing they can really do about that. And concerns were brought up multiple times about this to professional staff, including Shane, the director of the Office of Student Involvement. And to my knowledge, nothing has truly been done to fix any of those issues. I know some senators had concerns about not being familiar with the agencies. So why should we have this power? Well, as student government agents, we should know about the agencies. We have a senator who sits on ADSB, which is the Agency and Department Strategic Planning Board, which Vice President Martinez chairs. We also have a vice chair of that committee sit on the Budget Committee, one of our most important committees. We fund these agencies and departments. We do events with them. We see them all the time. We should be learning about them and connecting with them. And if you feel you don't know a lot about them, this is the perfect starting point to start understanding them. And for the most part, we wouldn't be changing anything ourselves. Like I said, we have no amending power. However, 70 of us are bound to have some collective knowledge where we could see possible issues a small board might not, or give them a voice. In addition, without this, we cannot do anything to hold these agencies in compliance with their own rules they seem to be breaking and have not been updating. It also allows students to come to us to express their views through open forum. In addition to students who may be part of the agency coming and speaking on the agency's behalf when they present it to us. So yeah, I yield to questioning.
We're now in line for questioning. All right, let me get senators present and voting first. Senator Moda.
I just want to say present and voting.
So noted at 9:09 p.m. All right, questions? DeMarlo.
Which agencies did you talk to before you came up with this bill?
So I'm a part of an agency, Late Nights, and I did speak to 2 past and 2 present directors of multiple agencies, which I will not name out of their respect of their privacy, because speaking against professional staff is not always the best thing. I'll probably get backlash for this. But yeah, this is a common thing between multiple agency directors like myself.
Salcedo.
So of those that you did speak with, what concerns or opposition did they have to this legislation?
Some of the more like positive stuff, I guess you could say, is that they just kind of wanted their constitutions to be updated and correct. A lot of them are very outdated. They don't include the actual positions that these people are in. They don't include a lot of things to where they can structure their meetings and efficiently move along things they're supposed to be doing, which is really important. This gives us the opportunity to have those on file for us so we can see like, hey, this isn't updated, please update it. It also gives the students more opportunity to come and see what the agencies are doing. And then some other concerns from those directors were directly with the professional staff who were purposely breaking the Constitution, with knowledge of breaking it, which is just really concerning that they have these expectations that these rules have to be followed and they're not being followed by their bosses technically, and they were concerned about that.
Great, let's get senators present and voting. Senator Trainer.
Present and voting.
So noted at 9:11 p.m. Senator Nimbarji.
Present and voting.
So noted at 9:11 p.m. Senator Tribble.
Present and voting.
So noted at 9:11 p.m. All right, we're still in line for questioning. McClellan, then Salerno.
So 1306.2 that you have written here says following the request of a student government affiliated agency to amend. So they they have to request the ability to amend their constitution.
So essentially the first reading would be their actual meeting, like that agency's meeting with their executive board where they like, okay, bring up the amendments, we're going to see them, we're going to vote on them. And then from there, they would have to come to us to actually officially have it amended. This is brought up by one of the directors that I spoke to about concerns with one of the professional staff wanting to amend it without the consent pretty much of the board, kind of just doing it themselves. And I feel like that is kind of not great. So
Salerno.
Do you know specifically what is the current system to amending a constitution within that exists of an agency, and how is that compared to one of an RSO?
Yeah, so sadly, we don't really have a lot of access to the constitutions. They're not easily publicly available, which I think is really concerning to start with. This will make it easily publicly available. But the ones that I have looked at, the processes are pretty much someone brings it up during a meeting, they talk about it, they vote on it, and then it gets amended. But even those processes are kind of a mess and kind of really just outdated. And to my knowledge, some of the constitutions don't even have processes because they're not, I guess, the lack of words, the best constitutions.
So I know, second question.
So what do you see to be student government's role in this process, especially because I see this more of being a judicial kind of role instead of a Senate role?
This would be changing essentially the governing documents of an agency, which is kind of what Senate does. We change the governing documents. It'd be just like we would be changing an internal bill type of thing. And sorry, I didn't fully answer your last question. When it comes to RSOs, I've seen that it is partially similar where someone brings the concern and they have to vote on it. And just, of course, it's more like within the executive board only because students aren't on it.
Any other questions? Salcedo?
So forgive me if I'm misinterpreting it, but would this mean that when an agency wants to amend their constitution, the Senate would see it like in 3 readings, like see every amendment, see every, the new version of it, whatever that may be?
Great question. The answer is no. So if you guys look near the bottom, it will only have 1 reading at Senate. The first reading is the actual executive board meeting, and then it has no 3rd reading, kind of like the budget bill. We'd only see it on 2nd, and then we don't have the ability to amend. We just have the ability to say, okay, this is good, or we have the ability to say, okay, we actually don't like this part. We send it back to them. They could fix it and resend it, and then either we approve it or deny it.
Any other questions? Chair Gell?
Yeah, so forgive me, I was out. Can you, from what I'm understanding of like the questions is, this is for any agency and RSO's amendment has to come, like amendment to their constitution has to come through our Senate body to be approved for their constitution to be approved?
Only the student government agencies, not any RSOs.
Right, any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. McClellan, question?
Yes, a question. So one of the issues that you stated that you when you were explaining the bill is that there's a lot of outdated constitutions for agencies. How is this bill going to help with that problem? Because I'm just seeing a bunch of, once they do want to, how do you get a fire under them to actually update their constitutions and fix things that are broken because they were not written the best?
Yeah, so this requires them to have their constitution on file with the Office of Student Involvement, which allows the public to be able to see it as public record. Obviously, it's already public record, but it's very hard to access. Like, I'm not even sure if I can get access, even though I'm part of one of the agencies. So having the ability to have everyone look at it, we can then look, oh, these are issues, those are issues. And we also have the ability to censure in non-compliance the executive directors. That is already a thing we have. This is not adding that. That's something we've already had as student government, and we could already do that. So if we do see it like, hey, this is horribly outdated, this is actually wrong, this is against our statutes, we can go, hey, you need to fix this. And then they kind of have to.
All right, Salerno, third and final question.
What current agencies have you worked with or spoken with specifically about this bill?
I spoke with, so I'll give the agencies of the directors that I kind of spoke to. So I've spoken to directors, obviously from late nights, but also spoken to the campus activities board directors and then directors from Volunteer UCF.
Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. If someone would like to make a motion or ask a question. DeMarla.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right, we'll go Hall, Salcedo.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the sentiment of the legislation. Like, I think it could be a potential solution. I guess there's a general sense of confusion just in terms of, like, I feel like this type of legislation should have a more public conversation with the current executive directors of the different agencies, mostly because I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what the sentiments of all the different agency executive directors are on this legislation. And this obviously impacts all of their agencies directly. I just feel like in its current state, again, at the end of the day, this could be what we eventually see because it's a generally agreed upon proposal. I just feel like there hasn't been a lot of input that we as senators can see from them since this has such a big impact on them. And so I currently am leaning towards abstaining on this for now, but I would like to see more input, whether the agency directors next week can come in person to talk more about this or whatever it might be. I just feel like in its current state, there's just a lot of questions about kind of the end goal, so to speak, in terms of us not being aware of what the sentiments are of across the board.
Salcedo?
I think I will be voting against this. Similar concerns as Chair Hall. I just want more inclusion into the conversation about what the agencies themselves think about this. I do appreciate the fact that we want them to, you know, at least the people involved in the agencies to have more say in their constitution and make sure like everything's being followed correctly and the way they want it to be. I just want that conversation to be had with them. There's at least a dozen agencies. So after those conversations are had, I would be more comfortable voting in favor of this.
Borges, McClellan, DeMarlo.
I actually agree with what has been said. And I was kind of like, whoa, you agree with things against your legislation. I'm actually planning on bringing this to ASB on the 28th, which is next week, to hopefully have them talk about it. I'm not sure if I can, but that was kind of the intention. So I wanted to get more input before this passed on third reading, of course. I didn't want to not ask anybody. I just knew this is kind of time sensitive as this is affecting the agencies right now. That's why I introduced it. So if that helps anyone.
To add to that, just a reminder that we have a special session, which the legislation would be seen if you want to take that into consideration. McClellan.
So I am basically in agreement with what everybody has said so far. This will be seen on third reading regardless of how the vote turns out, but I'm just going to be abstaining because I do not disagree with what's here, but I do want to hear from the agencies.
DeMarlo.
I share the similar concerns, but it's something else I want to add is maybe we should involve judicial into this conversation because I feel like this also kind of plays onto their role with their like rules, like making sure that like, I just think that maybe they should be involved in the conversation.
Are there any dissenting opinions? If not, Sabila?
Can I direct a question at the chair? Or the speaker?
To who? To me?
Yes.
You may.
Is this something we could postpone or have we already like gotten to into things?
I mean, you all can make a motion to postpone it.
It sounds like a lot of people are very concerned. So can I make a motion?
You may. Everyone can make a motion.
Okay. Can I make a motion to postpone to next meeting?
Well, the next meeting is a special session. So do you want it to be the special session or the next regularly scheduled meeting?
Next regularly scheduled meeting.
There's been a motion to postpone to the next regularly scheduled meeting on July 28th. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll take that as general consent. It's hereby postponed. All right. I want to get to the rest of the legislation, but we don't have time because I need to go to miscellaneous business and get individuals on committees. So with that, is there a motion to go to miscellaneous business? Any objections to that? Seeing none. All right. Resignations, Senators Brenner and Palmer hereby resign from CRT. Elections, is there a motion to open up E&A nominations? Okay, I don't know what's going on with that, but Senator Trainer, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Senator Tribble, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Anyone else wishing to be on E&A? Is there a motion to close nominations? Is there a motion to open up E&A elections? All those in favor? All those against? All those abstaining? Congratulations, you are both on E&A. Appointments, I hereby appoint Senator Nambarji to FAO, and I hereby appoint Senators Brenner and Moda to SBA. No reinstatements. Sheik Couture, we're getting there. Honorary mention. I'm not saying y'all look bad. I'm just like looking around. We'll go to Almanar, loving the shirt. Then it'll be McClellan, Foster, then Trainer. Your best dress tonight. All right. Almanar.
Motion to go back to see the postponed bill. Context, I thought we were gonna vote on it. I didn't know that vote on postponing it. That's why I didn't object. I thought we were gonna vote on postponing it. I don't want to postpone it. I made the statement I made because people had a week to reach out to me and those who worked on this resolution and they didn't. That's what I meant. I didn't mean to wait more time to see this. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to choose to not see that motion because I took it by general consent by the Senate body to postpone it. So we'll see it next week. All right. Anyone else for miscellaneous business? Also, by the way, anything we didn't get to will go to unfinished business. I'll put it onto the memorandum to be seen during the special session. Is there a motion for a non-committee member to speak? That person being Brody. Brody.
I just want to quickly point out that I believe FAO is an elected committee, not an appointed one.
I don't know who put it there, but all right. I had that same thought too. That's why I was like, I don't know, but I assumed someone put it there and it was accepted by Brody. So, all right. We'll go to elections. Is there a motion to open up FAO nominations? Senator Nambarji, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Any other individuals wishing to be on FAO? Is there a motion to close nominations? Is there a motion to open up FAO elections? All those in favor? All those against? All those abstaining? Congratulations, you're on FAO. All right. Anyone else for miscellaneous business? If not, Chair Holmes?
Motion to adjourn pending final pending roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Chair Urea.
Trainer,
Yes.
Tribble. Here. Mole. Potier. Modha. Here. Kira. Here. Nimbargi.
Here.
Martinez. McClellan.
Present.
Millington.
Present.
Richard. Temple.
Present.
Posey. Caldwell. Robbins. Present. Spalding. Present. Castillo.
Here.
Parmar. Quinn. Simcoe.
Present.
Wanjin. Present. Domino.
Present.
Foster.
Present.
Galloway. Custis.
Here.
Beaumont. Here. Sarah.
Present.
Gell.
Present.
Yellow and Chili.
Present.
Samuel.
Present.
Heightskill. Here. Demarla.
Here.
Patel.
Here.
Uchoa.
Here.
Burrell. Borges.
Here.
Almanar.
Present.
Anderson.
Present.
Castellan. Present. Sebula.
Present.
Paul.
Here.
Holmes,
Present.
Huerta,
Present.
Costas,
Here.
Martin,
Present.
Salerno,
Present.
Sacedo,
Present.
Tache. And just before I call it, Martinez, I didn't hear him, but I'm not sure if his mic's working.
Present, sorry. I don't, that might have been, that's on me.
Okay.
Present, thank you.
All right. 40 out of 44, quorum is verified.
Hereby adjourn this meeting at 9:28 p.m. I'll see you Monday at 9 a.m.